he didn't. Yes, he did.
In our neighborhood.
Skellington?
Yeah, the guy from
not a skeleton.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, Skellington. Okay, gotcha.
That's Skellington.
That's right in your neighborhood?
Uh-huh.
Would you say percentage-wise of the homes near your home are decorated?
10%.
Only 10?
Yeah.
Wow. I think our neighborhood really gets into it. I feel like we're over 50, but maybe I'll have to do another informal check, and maybe this weekend might change it, because now we're still 20 days away from Halloween. I never know when the proper time to do it, but I think like when the first person starts, then it's like, oh, it's like we did this some last weekend, and pretty much our stuff is out, whatever we put out. But I like people that get all into it, though. I mean, that's
here's what I don't like
about Halloween, or about the decorating.
The decorating.
Okay.
Because I think it's lazy. Because people put out the Nightmare Before Christmas stuff, so they're just going to leave it out.
Oh, they leave that out?
It's going to be left out from now until January 8th.
Yeah, that seems
you're just being lazy.
Right.
Oh, I'll put a Santa hat on it, so now it's Christmas decorations.
Exactly. So we have a tree out front of our house, just a standard regular tree that I personally like to put Christmas lights on, decorated at that time. In the last 2 years, we've put like these. My wife found like these orange, I don't know, and why they're Halloween lights to me, because they're orange, I guess. But I put those on the tree outside. That it just looks kind of cool. And then there's other things we put up. We have some things that are more harvesty, I guess, and then stuff that's Halloween, whether it's some witches or let's see. We got these this year from my sister-in-law. She got these dueling banjo playing skeletons. And they're pretty cool, but it's one of those things where they're on motion sensors, and she actually put them like in the back, because she thought it's just the state of the time that people might steal them from the front. So there's just like a little back portion of our backyard that has the decorations, and I'm glad the sensor is not super sensitive, because this morning I left out of the back of the house to get to the car, and then just to drive here to work, and I had to go back to get something back in the house, and both times it didn't go. But the first time I thought, oh man, if that just started randomly at 5 a.m, there's a good chance I would have jumped out of my clothes.
So it plays a song?
Yeah.
Can I take a guess at it?
Sure.
It was also the night that the skeletons came to life. They came from under the ground and from all over the...
That was it.
I thought it was it.
That's the exact song they are playing. And I'm the kind of person that is easily scared. Like, I'm jumpy. I could get jumpy.
Oh, yes, you are.
You've done that before at the station. Deuce
I
is trying to
scare you by not even doing anything.
I know. You had me going for a while. What was that during? It was
during COVID.
During COVID, when literally it was just us from our station that was here. And you were working basically like every Kings game when we would go to the arena, but the Kings they were either playing in the arena or on the road, but we were doing the games from basically downstairs off a monitor. That was kind of how G-Man had to do the games. And I would come back by the station afterwards. And there was one time, didn't you leave a note in here on the window?
Like, look behind you?
Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh. And you're at home, long gone.
No, what I would say to you when you're at the arena, I'm like, hey, you coming back? Yeah. I'm going to go hide in my car and I'm going to come out and scare you.
Yeah. And you had thought about that. There were a couple times. Or
there was one time I tried to get under your car.
Did you really? Oh my gosh.
So my plan was, like, once you come up to your car, I was going to grab your foot.
Oh, that would have been awful.
I just couldn't get under your car.
Thankfully. I mean, I know that would have been great and funny for you. There's a chance that would have been the end for me. Did you, by the way, last night, so speaking of scary, did you get a chance to see your scary movie?
I did not.
Oh, I was ready for Christopher Laud's scary movie review.
Life happened.
Okay. Didn't you tell me, though, that you were going to watch a scary movie at home instead, if you did?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
I fell asleep 5 minutes into it.
So life happened.
Yes.
That's
I was
what
looking for. It's Devil's Backbone, Guillermo del Toro.
Okay.
It's an older movie. I haven't been able to get a chance to see it, but I'm really interested in it. Hopefully, maybe I'll make it an afternoon viewing today.
Okay. So YouTubers, if you've seen, what is it? Devil's Backbone?
The Devil's Backbone.
All right. Give us your review. Seemingly everybody has checked in or seen some of these movies, but we'd appreciate any kind of review there. Is there a chance of seeing that movie tonight or today?
No.
Last night was the window.
Yeah, hopefully next week.
Okay.
Maybe.
So we'll get the movie. We'll get the movie review when it happens. Today, Chris, there's a 20-year anniversary of I will put it this way: if you do you know what happened 20 years ago today? Anything significant in sports? That's just off the top of your head.
It was.
Because if not, I want to give you some hints.
It was the Cubs winning their first postseason.
Okay, no, that's not what maybe, but this is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that some deem as awful, but I know you laughed at. So this is kind of your wheelhouse, like things that people are like, oh man, they shouldn't have done that, but you thought there were elements of it that were funny that I remember. Obviously you weren't here 20 years ago, but we talked about this event. And the next hint will be my favorite baseball team versus what was your favorite baseball team.
Uh-huh.
So what would be something along those lines that some people are like, oh man, that's terrible. But others. See?
Oh, they threw Zimmer. Pedro threw Zimmer.
The bench clearing brawl with the Yankees and the Red Sox, and Pedro Martinez threw down Zimmer. And that was your reaction. Unplanned, unscripted. Yeah, that was 20 years ago today.
Oh, I remember watching that at home and just being like,
oh! They threw him down! Oh, help me! Oh, my goodness. Where does the time go? I mean, 20 years ago, if you had like, hey, when did that happen? 10, 12 years ago?
What's crazy is Kareem Garcia, like, punched out like a
like somebody in the bullpen, or
like a worker in the bullpen.
Yeah, security guy, right?
No, it wasn't even a security. I think it's like a grounds crew guy,
some harmless groundskeeper, and he just decked him, and everybody's only talking about
no suspension,
nothing.
No,
it's fine. But we're worried about Pedro throwing down Zimmer. That was just weird. That was a whole weird situation.
That's back when baseball was baseball.
Those are the good old days. My goodness. Yesterday, so I was assuming when we left the show, when the show was over, you were going to your movie at some point. I left here. I drove down to the Bay Area for Pac-12 network work. I did some Cal soccer. Cal versus the Portland Pilots. I know you probably don't know anything about
it. Kick it.
And we kicked it. I mean, that's exactly what we did. Any guess on The score, Chris.
0-0.
From the 7th-ranked Portland Pilots versus the California Golden Bears.
0-0.
You're going 0-0. Okay. That is incorrect. Next guess.
2-0.
That's correct. You have a correct answer. Who won?
Portland.
That's also correct.
All right.
There you go. Yeah, it's been fun getting an opportunity to do a couple of soccer games, soccer matches, however you want to word it. But I did 2 before. This one I had to do by myself. They do some of that with the Pac-12 network. That was a bit of a challenge.
I've never seen like a one-person.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was interesting. So, and just the way things are done, it's operated. I think this is probably more standard for a lot of things. You know, there's a couple on-site cameramen and camera people, camera crew. And then you're dealing with a producer director basically back at some studios, just basically talking into your ear. So it's just a, smaller operation. And the guy at the end said, he was really complimentary. He said, great job. It was awesome. He goes, I'm going to say this. It's totally meant to be a compliment, not an insult, but you sound like, and he had no idea, we had never met before. He goes, you sound like a radio guy. And I said, well, that's funny because I am a radio guy. And I said, wait, did I talk too much? And he goes, no, actually it was good. And sometimes people let it breathe like too far, but I didn't know if he meant I did talk too much. I couldn't. But he said it was meant as a compliment. I'll take it as one, but I was trying to read between the lines on that.
On TV, between TV and radio for soccer, it's like Cole to Smith.
Yeah. With
the ball down the line.
Yeah.
Back to Cole.
Whereas radio, you have to do far more description.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing the, scoots it up the right sideline. Because there's so much, I don't want to say non-action. That's not accurate. But basically, the way I was told and the way I've watched and did my research, it's kind of like when you get into the offensive third, it's like, okay, that's when you maybe want to really get more into the description of something potentially happening. But Chris, I mean, there's a lot of action that's around midfield and just side to side and moving people. And just sometimes it's stuff being set up, but it's change of possessions multiple times without a lot of dramatics happening. So you're just trying to fill space with other little facts and different things. But I thought I let it breathe a certain amount of time, and other times you're into it.
Midfielder Andrew with the ball. He's a big fan of Tamagotchi when he was in 8th grade.
Yes. See, I would have been great. I wish I would have had you as an analyst. We probably would have talked about Saturday Night Live, MacGruber, movie lines, whatever it might have been, just to fill the time. That's what you do. There was a lot of time to be filled. But anyway, enjoyed myself. That was fun. Today on the show, we've got a lot coming your way. In fact, later this hour, about 30 minutes from now, UC Davis football coach Dan Hawkins stops by for his weekly visit. Big game coming up again for the Aggies after a loss to Montana this weekend. They got to bounce back. They've got Weber State. We've got Kings basketball tonight. So we'll be discussing that as the preseason gets going with game 2. More baseball playoff reaction. We've got football to look ahead to. We will have Brendan Nunes from Sactown Sports. He will join us at 8 o'clock for a couple of segments. And it's Wednesday at 9, Niners at 9. Emil Frosao, our Sactown Sports insider, about the 49ers, will join us. We got streaking. We got celebrity birthdays, 4 down territory, 3 for madness. But next, it is leading off right here on Sactown Sports.
Has Monty put together a roster that can help make a deep playoff run this season?
Just trying to give coach options, give him guys that can help us win in a variety of areas. Obviously, our top guys are going to play every game, but there's going to be other times, whether it's injuries, matchups, we've got to have some variety on the bench for coach to point to and say, go in there and help us win.
Tune into every Kings game this season
on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
We're going abroad for the first time in years, to Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here.
StocktonHonda.com. Number one claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own loan report.
Let's do it. Leading off, the 3 top stories in the morning.
Huge news. This is very important.
Here's cut number 1.
Len with the block shot. The Zenkov, the 3.
Sasha Vezenkov. They got the ball of Vezenkov. Sasha Vezenkov, the Sacramento Kings, back in action today. I mean, must-win time, guys. You can't lose preseason game number 1 and think you can. You have to bounce back. You have to be 500 in the preseason or better. Wins or losses really don't matter in the preseason. It's how you look at moments. There was some good basketball by the Kings against Toronto in Vancouver. Other times, some things to work on. We'll see what the Kings have worked on as they get another road game today in Anaheim against the Lakers. I know there was a lot of talk yesterday. I know Frankie, Brendan, the guys that were out at Kings practice, and social media, the way it works, you point out some facts, get some material out there, and then everybody has to analyze or overanalyze. But Vezenkov, Chris picked that cut, and I think it's a good one to pick because Mike Brown was talking about, where Sasha Vezenkov fits in with this team. Right now, he was kind of in that third group. So is he player 11 through 15? Is he out of the rotation? What's going on? He's the EuroLeague MVP. What could this mean? Again, I don't have the facts or the answers. I don't know what coach exactly is doing by that. But can we push the brakes a bit? It is preseason game number 1. He has played a lot of professional basketball, but none here. There's, again, I always say this, life is how you look at it. You could look at it like, hey, he's the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th guy right now. That doesn't seem right. Doesn't seem right to me either, but it was preseason game number 1. You could look at it that way. Number 2, you could look at it as the group he was playing with was very, very young, and he was the most experienced. Maybe that was by design. That second 5 is pretty good, and I feel like he'd be a part of it, but there's probably going to be that 6th player out of that second 5 left out, so there is someone that's going to be 11th in the rotation. In the end, I don't think it'll be him, but right now, technically it is. But it's right now. And I think he might be coaching him pretty hard, pretty tough. I know Coach Brown was very critical of his defense and talked about that. So, look, I think he's trying to push him. I think they obviously coveted him, wanted him. Coach Brown wanted him. I think everybody's marveled at his shooting. It's one preseason game. And honestly, when he played, he looked pretty good. So I think we need to relax on that. Even if the first 20 games of the year, there's this weird rotation. Relax. 40 games, whatever. It's how do the Kings look? How are they playing? Do they look like they're functioning properly? And coach will make adjustments as it goes along. Believe me, he's out here to win, and they've got a good team, and they're going to try to maximize everything they've got from it. So he'll be someone to watch tonight. So will the entirety of the group. And I'll say it tomorrow when I'm back in here. If the Kings win, great, awesome. If they lose, who cares? How do they look? And that's why the last 2 preseasons, when they were winning basically everything, I cared less about their record, though the record was good. I thought they looked really sharp in the preseason. So what did that mean? They came out and lost the first 4 games last year. But I thought they were sharp. I go, wow, they look ready for the season. Doesn't mean they weren't. Then you get to the start of the NBA season, what changes? The people that were playing 16, 18, 20 minutes, the main 5, the main 7, the main 8 from every team, all of a sudden that bumps up to 25 to 35 minutes. You're going to play your best players. Fox will be playing a ton of minutes. Sabonis will be playing a ton of minutes. I don't know what the group will play tonight, but it's preseason action. You'll hear it right here. Sactown Sports later today. All right, cut number 2.
Cut number 2.
The set and the 1-2 pitch. And that ball is lifted high into the air, deep left field. Hayes is going back onto the track. He looks up. It is gone. Adolis Garcia will touch them all. His 3-run blast has given Texas a 6-0 lead.
What a run by the Texas Rangers. They are the first team into the championship series. They go to the ALCS. Boch, undefeated in the postseason. We'll hear more about Texas in Safer Out and as the show rolls along. But they got hot at the right time. That's what postseason sports is about. Texas was a good team this year. The peak they could have been is with Scherzer and DeGrom. But right now they are confident. They're hitting. They're pitching well enough. And they probably feel invincible. They've won every postseason game. They've just taken out the American League East with dramatic victories and comfortable victories over whether it's the Orioles or the Rays. Kudos to Texas. They move on. They're the first team to the League Championship Series as they advance with the sweep of the Baltimore Orioles. And you feel for Baltimore. I mean, it was a dream season. The first time back, very successful year. It should be the start of what should be a great run for Baltimore. They got a young farm system. More players are coming up. They got the number 1 rated farm system with all the young players already on their roster. Feels like the beginning for Baltimore, but short-lived. No playoff wins. That part's a little frustrating, especially losing the first 2 at home. But Texas is about them. Congrats. They move on to the American League Championship Series. All right, cut number 3.
Cut number 3. 10 seconds remaining. Shot clock turned off. Here's Young. Gets the whistle, puts the bucket, and a chance for 3.
The N1 from Jackie Young in Game 1. The WNBA Finals continue tonight. Game 2. We'll have more on this on what to watch. There's a lot of basketball to choose from today. And when it's preseason, again, the stakes aren't much. WNBA, the stakes are everything now. The Aces trying to win back-to-back titles. Liberty's still a very good team. This is an awesome matchup. Vegas with a big second half in Game 1 to get the separation to win and take a 1-0 series advantage. That is Game 2 tonight. So you got lots of stuff to choose from. More playoff baseball, 3 matchups today. You get Kings basketball, WNBA Finals. We say this all the time. It's a good time to be a sports fan. Hockey, NFL. It's all here. College football. Good times. All right, like we said, busy day still later this hour. UC Davis football coach Dan Hawkins. But when we come back, we'll jump back into a quick look around the diamond in Safe or Out. That's coming your way next.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Thunder, feel the thunder. It ignites something inside of you.
Lightning and the thunder.
It's a new era in entertainment. Experience legendary performers like never before. All new and all incredible. This is the venue. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kent Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kent Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sactown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, what's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet, Dodge Chrysler, Jeep Ram in Woodland. What's happening with Ram Power Days?
We love American muscle, And right now is the last call on new 2023 Dodge Charger and Challenger SXTs before they're gone, with lease payments as low as $399.
What about all those Ram trucks I see?
Save thousands with 0% financing for 72 months and 6,900 Bighorn and Laramie crew cabs. And we all know 0% financing is almost impossible to find in 2023.
These deals can't last long. So hurry into Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, or see our whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
Take 0% financing for 72 months plus 6,000 dealer discount. Offer on approved credit through Chrysler Capital. Must have 700 plus FICO score to qualify. 0% for 72 months equals $13.89 per thousand borrowed. Lease new 2023 Dodge Charger or Challenger SXT for $399 a month for 42 months with $49.95 due at signing plus tax, license fees, and any accessories. Offer subject to credit approval through U.S. Bank with 10,000 allowable miles per year. 25 cents per mile excess mileage charge. 5 each net savings. See dealer for details.
Sactown Sports
Headlines.
I'm Chris Roulade with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings' second preseason game is tonight when they take on the Los Angeles Lakers in Anaheim. You can listen to tonight's game with game night at 5:30 and tip-off scheduled for 7 right here on Sactown Sports. The Texas Rangers beat the Baltimore Orioles last night 7-1 to sweep the 101-game winners. Rangers move on to the ALCS while they will meet the winners of the Astros and Twins series. Reminder, all guests come to you via the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Those are your headlines. Now let's get back to the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Safe or out? It's time to go around baseball. 3 pitches, 3 swings. It's safe or out on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Hey, Chris, I got a call during that break. Doesn't happen often during the show. Care to guess who called?
Someone that's up right now?
Yeah.
I'm going to guess Carmichael Dave.
You are correct. I thought that's when you play a Dave drop. I was hoping for something.
Oh.
Yeah. Pick your favorite Dave drop.
Wait, hold on. Oh, let's do this again. Okay. So I'm going to guess Carmichael Dave.
You are correct.
I have a tiny butt.
That is my favorite drop. That one, every time he gets me. Every single time. Yeah, he was just checking in. He's up. I don't know. It was about 9-hour difference? 9 hour difference?
8 hours.
8 hours. I think he thought it was 5:30 though. He's like, "You in yet?" I said, "In? Yeah. I mean, we're in commercial." Oh, darn it! I forgot. So, ooh, math is hard. All right, let's do it.
I don't know if I should have done that.
That one's pretty good too. That was from his time in the Times Square, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Earlier on Monday.
Town Square.
Times Square. All right, let's go with safe or out number 1.
Safe or out? The Los Angeles Dodgers get eliminated today.
You know what? I'm going to go with out. I don't think it happens today. I know a lot of people probably in these parts are rooting for that. I have no rooting interest in this one.
Because you're a spy.
Because I'm a spy. Noted spy, please.
Noted Southern California spy.
Noted. Wait, who initially called me that?
I did.
No. You get credit, trademark for that?
No,
Noted.
that's
just a thing.
For the people.
For the people. You do with it as you will. Noted spy. I'm again, like when it's baseball, it's one game, sure, anything can happen. But also in that same realm, I tend to pick who I think is the better team. I do think the Dodgers are the better team. Hasn't been much now, right? They're down 2-0. They're down to their last game. There's no wiggle room. But I think they'll survive. So I'm going to say out. They don't get eliminated today.
Just going to give you a little preview. I don't think that they survive because they're going to need some big plays by their best players. And something tells me Mookie Betts is going to have an offer tonight.
Sign of things to come for streaking a little bit later. All right, safe or out number 2.
Safe or out?
The Rangers continue to win and continue their need. The need for Creed.
Yeah, the need for Creed.
Safe or out? Their stadium sing-along last night was cool.
Well, let's take a listen. So there's a little sampling of the fans all in on Creed, much like the Rangers, if you haven't heard the story. Okay, we got to be truthful here. For those of you that are out there that say, dumb, stupid, what are they doing? Just, I don't get the gimmick. Chris, we got to be honest. If this was happening here in Sacramento and that whole arena was doing it, we would own it like this is the coolest thing ever. I think people would. Here, I'm not saying universally, but the majority, right? I mean, at the beginning, the beam, people are like, what? What is that?
See, but that feels more organic.
Oh, it's okay that we're doing it?
Yeah.
But if someone else started doing the beam, we're mad, right? We are. It was us. We started it.
Yeah. If someone starts doing it now,
yeah,
absolutely, 100%.
But
I'm saying, like, let's just say
are they not the same? The beam and Creed singing. I mean, like, they're not. I know they're not the same, but you know where I'm going. Like, something that happens here that we do here. I'm saying we, like the collective Kings fans. Like, hey, that's our thing. That's ours. We there used to be the thing before with the Goon Squad when everybody would jump up and down in the arena. Like, I thought that was really cool. But maybe if you see that somewhere else, you're like, yeah,
I think what really made it lame last night is that they put the words up,
so people had to sing. Like, you just
for people. It's just like, okay. And as a fan of European soccer, this is like something that happens every single game.
Yeah.
And it's 1,000 times louder.
Yes.
And they don't need the words.
Right. I still want that for Sacramento, like a song that we not own, but you know what I mean? Like, that just is turned into Sacramento Kings song.
I tried to do it. Just didn't catch on. Fire Falcon.
That's right. Well, I think we just need to play it more. Fire Falcon. But we have to keep Harrison Barnes from here to eternity.
Yes.
Which is okay. But
that's not true. In like soccer, when a player leaves, they still sing songs for that person.
When they're not around
all the
anymore.
time. Yeah. They still sing them.
They just fire them off.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an homage to players of the past.
Exactly.
How far back do they still go?
Oh, Manchester City has one about like a player in the 80s that they still. They still do Colin Bell. He was in the 70s.
Okay. And do they sing the whole game?
Yeah,
for the most part. Okay, that's an experience.
Oh, it's the best.
Let's see.
I'll take you an away game one day.
Let me see. Ryan says, I noticed in general at the beginning of the game, the Texas crowd was chanting stuff like a soccer game. I thought it was cool. It's okay to jump on something even if it's corny. That's a personal preference thing, right? Some people, I think everybody got into the beam. Now, the cool thing to me about the beam was I wasn't sure about it at first, and I still feel like the time where De'Aaron, I think they were in LA and said, light that beam, we're coming home, Sac, or something. Then it felt like, all right, the players know it. Now everybody's kind of involved in it, and then it just became a huge thing. But what I liked, Chris, I think I said this story this year, but I went to Boston in May, maybe, and we were at some mall or something. They somehow got into a small conversation. The guy's like, oh, where are you guys from? We're like, oh, Northern California. You know, sometimes you don't know. He's like, what part? I go, Sacramento. He goes, like the beam. And I went, really? But that phrase is just so, as soon as you say it, you know what the reference is.
My personal favorite is while the game is still going. And the like the beam chance.
That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
I tried to get it in when the Kings were playing the Pelicans, like to start the fourth quarter, because the game was over. And hey, you can't do that. You can't.
People are policing on the rules. Like,
it's probably Watkins. He didn't want it like for the playoffs. He didn't want to light the beam chant started until all zeros hit the scoreboard.
Well, the problem with the two home wins is that it kind of came right down to the end. There was one home win. I think it was the Herder game winner. There was something else late too, where it basically there was no chance because it's just intense and you're nervous. And then the game's over. Light the beam. It just there was no anticipation on that. But good for the Rangers. They've advanced. I think they got to stick with this need for Creed. Right, it's working for them, so they got to continue. All right, our last one on safe or out.
Safe or out?
Safe or out. If the Houston Astros win another World Series, their cheating scandal will be forgotten.
Well, they got a little closer, at least, to getting there yesterday.
2-2. And Alvarez belts it to right, pretty deep, going back. Kepler on the warning track, looking up. See you later! A high, majestic shot by Yordan Alvarez, his fourth home run of the series. And it is 7-1 Astros.
All right, on the question, I'll say out. I don't think it's forgotten, but I think what some of the Astros players were saying back then, for anyone that even cared or anyone that listened, I think everybody was just like, cheaters, cheaters, cheaters. I don't care. Cheaters, we hate you. Boo. We'll boo you everywhere. I think they wanted to say that, look, we're a really good baseball team. And they are. But, Chris, do you think, I don't know that it'll be, I think forgotten's too far. But, if they win another World Series, I don't know if they've cheated the last couple of years, but I think some people can't get past it. Others will be like, this has just been a good franchise.
I think it'll add to the hatred of them.
Probably, which, I believe it's not happening anymore, but I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think that they're definitely not cheating like they were.
Not the same way.
Which,
right?
Once again, check out the Frontline documentary on it. It's fantastic.
About how many people and how many teams generally
the thing that hurt them the most was there was no punishment for the players. And when after it happened, no fans allowed at stadiums.
Yeah.
So fans couldn't get it off their chest.
Well, didn't they fire GM and the coach?
Yes.
The manager, and you're like, okay. Just felt a little bit weird there. Now they brought in Dusty, who everybody loves.
The other bad thing is no one wants to talk about this. The Red Sox are doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, there was a link to the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Dodgers. There's a lot of teams that were kind of linked as doing something similar.
The Red Sox are doing the same thing, and they won a World Series, and it's just boop.
Yeah. Somehow we pick our targets, and it's been the Houston Astros. All right, that is safe or out. When we come back, we got NBA to get into. Also, we'll check in with UC Davis football coach Dan Hawkins, his weekly visit. We'll effort him to see if he's ready to stop by and talk about Aggie football as we continue here on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season? Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995? Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Model Year End pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the Model Year End event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com. Your one-stop Honda shop.
At Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same. But at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different? How? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No. Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee, structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. Hey, small business owner, when's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. But some don't check their rate often. Did you know rates can vary? In fact, taking 3 minutes to check your rate with Pi Insurance could save you up to 30%. Just go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for you with no hassle or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could save you money. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi, or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com. FootballMetrics.com.
The game of football is about pain. Ever since I was 5 years old, it's been all about football. It's been about running, jumping, blocking, tackling. I stopped playing at 31.
You're listening to Michael Robinson, retired pro fullback.
I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life. I'm so glad I met Good Feet. I'm so glad that those arch supports are in my shoes. I had terrible foot issues that prevented me from really having a normal life with my kids. With the Good Feet arch supports, man, I'm always ready. My kids actually got to enjoy me in the yard more, racing each other, backpedaling, teaching them some things, being a dad. If I had known about the Good Feet arch support earlier, I would have more than one championship. I would have 2 championship rings.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
York House Sportsman Show, October 14th and 15th at the grounds in Roseville.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
Call or text at 916-339-1140
on Sactown Sports.
Still to come on the show, Brendan Nunes, right here from Sactown Sports, will join us, talk a lot about the Kings tonight. There's an NBA GM survey that is out. Kings show up on several of those categories. We'll discuss some of that today on the show. Kings, of course, back in action tonight against the Lakers. That game will be in Anaheim. You can hear that tonight. We got game night. We've got Henry and I and the G-Man on Deuce, all of us back ready to roll for Kings basketball this evening. So look forward to that on your radio or whatever device, however you find us here on Sactown Sports. We do appreciate that. Also, Niners at 9, Emil Frosao will join us, and we'll get his perspective on all things Niners right now. He's our Niners insider, and things are very good for the San Francisco 49ers as we speak. So, but they do have a game with Cleveland coming up. There's some concern with the Browns and their quarterback situation with Deshaun Watson South. We'll talk about that with Emil a little bit later in the show. We're efforting Dan Hawkins, head coach of the UC Davis Aggies. We will have him at some point, hopefully today. But do want to get into a couple things that I don't know any other way to say it or to put it, but certainly some tough news and sad news. And we're thinking of the Malone family as former Kings assistant coach and longtime NBA coach, Brendan Malone, the father, of course, of Michael Malone, who was here with the Kings, passed away yesterday at the age of 81. Truly, when they talk about a lifer in the NBA, he was that. He was around the league in a lot of different organizations, and a lot of people had a chance to have a couple conversations with him. But over the years, just people spoke so highly of him, certainly of Michael Malone. So glad that Malone finally got that championship. The family got a chance to celebrate that, and certainly thinking our best and well wishes for him. For Michael Malone, certainly for the family, for his loved ones, for his friends and family. So thinking of them today, certainly passing away at the age of 81 was Brendan Malone. Some other NBA news and notes. I don't know that this has been officially confirmed. Heard this story for maybe a day or two, but former King Nemanja Bjelica, my nemesis from Media Day, Belly is set to retire from basketball. He had really good years here in Sacramento. He was a really good King at a time where the basketball wasn't at its best. He was either a good starter when he was put in for spot minutes, certainly a very good role player, had a nice couple of years in Minnesota, was very good here, helped the Warriors as well. And when I think about Bjelica, he had his moments, certainly, in Sacramento. And I think a lot of people, when they think of Bjelica, will remember this.
Bjelica positioned with Hield out at the top of the three-point circle. Bogdanovich and Barnes just to the left of the lane. Waiting to see how this plays out. Corey Joseph has handed the ball by Ken Maurer. Holds it above his head. Fakes once, fakes twice. Gives to Belly. 35-foot three for the win. Nemanja Bjelica has just broken the 10-game losing streak in Houston, is being mobbed by his teammates. A 35-foot three-point shot from the far left wing. Nothing but net. 119, 118. Sacramento gets win. And the man of the hour is Nemanja Bjelica. Absolutely mobbed by his teammates. Now circles free, and the Kings head toward the far tunnel to head back to the locker room. Bjelica being steered over to where he'll have a conversation with Grant Napier and Doug Christie, and a most improbable finish. But what a way to put an end to a 10-game losing streak.
December 9th, 2019.
That's actually a very important game for me.
That game?
Yeah. Well,
Why?
I'll remember it forever.
Okay.
Because I was in Manchester at the time. I want to say it's 4:00 in the morning. I can't watch the game. And it's like one of those, you're asleep and then you wake up, kind of look at your phone.
Sure.
It's like, oh, it's a close game. So I'm just refreshing my Twitter to I just want to see how it ends. And then it's like Bjelica 3. Oh my God. I'm like able to see.
Yeah, you can see the reaction of
the interview and everything like that. So I'm like, oh, that's awesome. A few days later, I'm in Croatia and I'm at they have like a holiday party in like the town square. And the bartender, he hears my accent and says like, oh, are you from the United States? I say, yeah, from California. He said, oh, you're from Los Angeles. I said, no, you've never heard of it before. It's Sacramento. And he's like, oh, no, the Sacramento Kings. I'm like, yeah. He goes, Bjelica hit that game winner the other night. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Then he goes, why doesn't Vladdy like Luka's dad? And I'm like, where are you getting all of this from?
He's on King's Twitter.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool, and that's the power of sports, right? Like that's happened. I mean, I think everybody has probably had a story like that. I assume if you've done any kind of traveling, and you're like, the farther and farther you get away, you're like, okay, California is easy to say, and then and I've had that too. Like, oh, are you really close to LA? I mean, no.
See, I lie, and I just say yes.
Yeah, it's around the corner. Yeah, I mean,
I surf to work.
Right, exactly. Earthquakes, it happen every day. Yeah, every day. It's really tough. Every single day. So not only was this game memorable for Bjelica, the way the shot, as beautifully described there by the G-Man, there was also this post game.
I mean, the same shot Buddy hit like last year in Detroit. So I kind of know what kind of feel is this. But this is NBA. We have one more game, and we deserve this win, man.
So. Chris, this will be an interesting game to play. December 9th, 2019. That's when this game happened. So, I mean, it's not even 4 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
My math is right? Yeah. Kings, after the game winner, go to 10-13. Houston dropped to 15-8. Just a shot in the dark at the starting lineup for each the Houston Rockets and the Sacramento Kings.
I'm going to have no clue.
Okay. Houston was a good team. James Harden.
Harden's still there, okay.
Clint Capella. Russell Westbrook. PJ Tucker. So all four are gone. And Daniel House Jr. gone. All of them gone. Their reserves in that game, Chris Clemens, I don't even remember him, Gary Clark, and the pizza guy, Ben McLemore.
Hey.
For Houston. For the Kings.
I don't even remember McLemore on Houston.
The Kings started. Oh, man.
De'Aaron Fox.
Fox must have been hurt. Yeah. Corey Joseph. Rashawn Holmes. Harrison Barnes. Buddy Hield. And Bjelica. Off the bench, Bogey. Yogi. And Trevor Ariza. Guys that didn't play, Dwayne Dedman. Wenyen Gabriel. Kyle Guy, Justin James, and Harry Giles.
Trevor Ariza had the scouting report on Houston.
He did.
That's why the Kings did so well.
Buddy scored 26. All five starters were in double figures, along with Bogey with 13. For the Rockets in that game, Westbrook had 34. Capella, no, wow, that's PJ Tucker. 10 points, 19 rebounds. Capella had 13 and 17. Harden had 27 points and 10 assists. How did the Kings win that game? Because of Bjelica. Nemanja Bjelica. Nemanja. a fun career. I think that's another nice thing about the NBA is, you don't have to always be a star. He had a nice career if, in fact, he does call it quits. But that's the other part of the reminder here that I wanted to bring this game up was not only the moment, but the fact that how quickly this can change. Obviously, even then, we are right before COVID, basically, or the lockdown. And, man, things change quickly around the league. And so sometimes when a player signs or we'll go over the GM survey a little bit later, there's reference points to, which team has the brightest future. And most every GM pointed to Oklahoma City Thunder. I get the thought process, but the league changes so fast. At this time, Houston was still thinking they were a championship caliber team. It's not even 4 seasons ago, and they're completely remade. I mean, the Kings only have from that team Harrison Barnes and De'Aaron Fox. That's it. And that's probably high around the league. I mean, the Warriors will be an outlier, but teams shuffle and change, and roster turnover happens all the time. Absolutely all the time. Do you have any other stories or references like you just said about Bielitsa? Not him, but Kings or you've traveled the world just like where people go, they recognize Sacramento because, like we said earlier, the Beam team or certain players or early 2000s.
I went to Austin for Austin City Limits, and there was a kid walking around with a De'Aaron Fox jersey. And so we went up to him like, hey, you from Sacramento? He's like, oh, no, I'm from someplace in Kentucky.
Okay.
Or like,
so
oh, really?
A Fox fan.
Like, so we're like, oh, really? So you're just like a Fox fan? He's just like, he's like, I don't have an NBA team, and De'Aaron Fox is my favorite player. So I started watching the Kings.
Yeah.
That was probably about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
5-6 years ago.
Yeah. I've said this story before. Years ago in Mexico family was at a Club Med resort trip, and we're playing golf, and they gave us caddies, and they didn't speak any English, which was fine. You're trying to communicate different things. You can basically communicate pretty easily, but there was a guy that I would say understood us the best and had a little bit of broken English and was basically, and we understood some Spanish, but I mean, it wasn't great with it, but was trying to comprehend kind of what what each side was saying. And basically we got to what do you guys do? Like, what is your job? That kind of thing. And I was trying to explain, broadcaster, announcer. Like, it was just kind of a tough one.
Goal.
And then Sacramento, and it was like, oh, Sacramento Kings, Chris Webber. And it was like, all of a sudden they knew, and this was closer to probably 2000. No, maybe not even 2002 yet. Maybe it was around 2000. So like all of a sudden you're in a place where there aren't any TVs. You're on this remote golf course in this remote area, and guys that barely understand English, and then all of a sudden they go, oh, Kings, Chris Webber, and you go, man, the power of sports is really incredible when you just think, all right, I don't know what we have in common here. How can we break through? And then all of a sudden the rest of the day went better, except for one of the caddy continued to give my mom, who was playing, like she was ready to tee off, he gave her the putter. It's like, all right, look, I know you may be new at this, but wrong club. That's the wrong club. And let's see, he saw my mom swing. He's like, yeah, you know what? You
Stay on the ground.
Yeah, keep it low. Keep it low. There's headwinds ahead. All right, break time for us. That is it. First hour complete. When we come back, we got much more to get into. More NBA. We'll take a look at that NBA GM survey as well, and we'll still hope to catch up with UC Davis football coach Dan Hawkins in the next hour as well. We'll go over that survey and preview the Kings and Lakers tonight. That's all coming up here on Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Nature Wood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's Wednesday. We're off to a cooler start to the day. Thanks to the clouds, it'll start to thin out as we head through the afternoon. Plan to see plenty of sunshine. It'll be bright and breezy. Highs in the mid-70s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Shop Folsom Lake Kia for all your favorite models at low prices and payments, plus low finance rates and zero down deals with approved credit. Go see my friends at Folsom Lake Kia right here in Sacramento for over 20 years.
My name is Jim Conroy, and I am the CEO at Boot Barn. As we celebrate 45 years supporting the Western community, we have been reflecting on the American Cowboys' incredible influence on our nation. Through tenacity and grit, they persevere to keep the Cowboy legacy alive while feeding families across the world. It speaks to the strength and spirit of our country, and we are honored to support this proud heritage. Thank you for sharing the West with us for 45 years.
It's no secret to golf enthusiasts that Timber Creek and Sierra Pines in Roseville are one of the region's most unique and scenic places to enjoy a great game of golf. 27 holes, boundless options. Elevate your game on our newly renovated driving range, putting green, and chipping area. Whether you're aiming for fun, lower scores, or all-around growth, we've got you covered. Experience golfing dreams in Roseville and book your tee time at timbercreekgc.com. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines, your ultimate golf haven.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Mike Woods, PGA Director of Golf at Hagen Oaks Golf Complex, says pace of play registers as very important to most golfers, so he offers a few tips to help. When you're in a cart, drop your partner at his ball and drive to your ball. While your partner is hitting a shot, you can be getting ready for your shot, and your partner can meet you at the cart. Move to the next shot before putting your club back in the bag. That way, you're putting one back and taking a new one, all in the same motion and time frame. Now, line up your putt while others are already putting, so you're ready when it's your turn. And you probably don't need to mark 2-foot putts, unless, of course, it's a tournament or a big money match. Save writing your scores until you reach the next tee. And it's not enough to be ahead of the group behind. Stay up with the group in front. It's a game. Have fun. And let everyone else have fun as well with a great pace of play. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Bring smiles to all when shopping online with Dell Technologies Gift Guide. Whether it's for the artist, the entrepreneur, the student, or the streamer, you'll find the perfect gift for everyone on your list. Dell.com/gift guide makes gifting easy with a carefully curated selection of our best tech. Shop now to explore our innovative PCs like the XPS 13 laptop, powered by the latest Intel Core processors, plus this season's top accessories. Visit Dell.com/gift guide today to get a jump on your holiday gift list. That's Dell.com/gift guide.
Yep, I'm looking at the pages right now.
Thomas's translation company just lost its only 2 Spanish speakers. Without the right replacements, he'll be in problemas.
Yeah, we'll have those ready. Tonight's going to be a late one.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTK-AM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Ladd with your Sactown Sports headlines. The Sacramento Kings' second preseason game is tonight when they take on the Los Angeles Lakers in Anaheim. You can listen to the game with game night at 5:30 and tip-off scheduled for 7 right here on Sactown Sports. The Texas Rangers beat the Baltimore Orioles 7-1 to sweep the 101-game winners. The Rangers move on to the ALCS while they will meet the winners of the Astros and Twins series. Reminder, all guests come to you via the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Those are your headlines. Now let's get back to the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone. When he's not on the microphone, he's playing a song. And when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone. And then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sactown Sports.
All right, hour number 2 underway. Jason Ross in today. Carmichael Dave is off. He's back with us next week. It is Wednesday. It's time to check in with UC Davis Aggies head football coach Dan Hawkins, who is kind enough to join us this morning. Coach, how are you?
Good morning, guys. Searching for a W.
Yeah, let's start there because obviously you guys are right there. You're so close, but the goal is to win. What's the divider? What's the separation that you're just missing right now and having your record flipped around a little bit?
Yeah, I'm serving up the awesome mediocre medicine recipe, so we're trying to shake it up a little bit. Quarterback played well. I thought we did some good things. We turned it over a couple times. One on a game time drive. We turned over. We turned it over in special teams. We struggled on special teams. Normally we're pretty good there, but we did not do well, and so that was a lot of it. Our defense played pretty close to dominating at times, but boy, third and long, we struggled in third and long. So situational football there. So yeah, we're trying to shake a few things up this week and see if we can't get out of the "hey, you were close" mode.
Yeah. So when you say shake it up, is that personnel? Is that scheme? Like, what do you mean by
a little bit of everything? How we play, what our scheme is, all that. Yeah, okay. It's all that.
Yeah. So, and is that tougher to do? I mean, we're basically mid-season. So is that have you had to do that in other years that you can recall on that maybe there was a benefit of that?
Well, yeah, I think you always have a certain system in place and you can ebb and flow somewhere within those guidelines. You don't want to throw everything out by any means, but you're going to slide to one end of the spectrum or the other based off of how you're doing. So I think you have to have room within your system to do that. That's something we've done before.
Yeah, as we're talking with UC Davis Aggies head football coach Dan Hawkins on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Coach, but still, big picture, you can still get to the places I'm sure you had goals for and want to get to. The I don't know if pressure is the right word, but where you are record-wise probably feels like every game now is kind of in that playoff mode. What is the advantage of kind of the small margin for error, let's say, the rest of the way?
Yeah, you are correct. I mean, the advantage is that your backs are against the wall. And if you want to go to the playoffs, then you pretty much have to win out. So if we're in that mode right now, it's a one-game elimination, and so you better put your best foot forward every day to try to get there.
This week, you get that opportunity. A team that's similar to you, Weber, I'm sure, has some of those same goals, both similar records. What do you see with the road game with the Wildcats this weekend?
Yeah, they've been a dominant team in this conference. Their head coach, Jay Hill, left and went to BYU. Probably not as dynamic as they've been in the past. I'm sure they're kind of searching a little bit as well. They're always very sturdy on defense and play kind of get-in-your-face defense, and have always been, really tough there. I think they're trying to find the formula offensively as well. They haven't been as prolific or scored the kind of points that they have in the past. Again, they're very good special teams. I don't know what it is about Utah, but they seem to grow returners. They always have an outstanding returner every year. Their last one is playing for the Saints right now. So, but yeah, they're kind of a work in progress as well.
In your years in the conference now, since you're back with Davis, where have you found, like Weber's a tough place to play, where have you found has been the biggest challenge on the road? What city has been toughest for you guys?
Well, Montana is. I mean, their stadium's unbelievable, and it's cement. It's right up on you. It's 20,000 people. I mean, I've been in some pretty big, loud stadiums before. I mean, that probably is the hardest in our league for sure, just because of the noise factor.
Yeah. You mentioned quarterback play last week. Miles Hastings, he was really good. I mean, he was efficient, effective, took care of the ball. Was that his best game this season?
Yeah, I think our offensive staff has done a nice job, and they've come along, and so has Miles. And again, he's trying to adjust to his third quarterback coach and his third coordinator, and so trying to put all those pieces together as well as our staff. And I thought our staff put together a good plan. And Miles is a super smart kid. He controls a lot of things at the line of scrimmage for us. He does a lot of unsung activities out there, not just throwing the football. But, I mean, and when you take care of the ball, you're going to be good. And he didn't throw any interceptions. He didn't fumble it. He got us in a lot of really good plays.
As far as, I know we've kind of asked you for a couple weeks here about Lan Larison. I thought I heard the other day, is he kind of back up and is he closer to coming back?
Yeah, he is running. And has done a little bit in practice this week, and we'll see where he's at. We are going to take him on the trip, so we'll see. But he's close.
Talking with Dan Hawkins here, head football coach of the UC Davis Aggies. So, I mean, you're the head coach. I know special teams has always been something that you've liked, that you've been a part of. You got your hands on that. What is it about that has always kind of been important to you and intrigued you?
Well, I think it's interesting. I think it typifies probably any organization, and you guys probably have the same thing in your radio station. It's kind of can you get your 11 guys to do one small thing full speed in kind of an unsung manner? Everybody's after the offense and defense and a running back and a DB, and but no one's really glorifying being the R4 on kickoff and being the left guard on punt team. So it's kind of the unsung portion of it. You're doing a lot of things. You're a drone for the program, and then they are just really, really, really big things in the game when you add it up. And when you lose field position battle, or you don't make an extra point, or you kick a ball out of bounds, or you don't get hang time on your punt, and you can't cover it. I mean, all those things, they just throttle your whole opportunity. So I love that part about it.
After this week, obviously you're locked in on Weber, worrying about that, what's right in front of you. You get the bye week. What do you personally do with the week off?
Well, we'll try to get better. You got to look at a bunch of self-scout material, which we do. Got to get your guys ready to go for the stretch run. So we've got to treat that week really smart and get our guys ready to go down the stretch. But that's pretty much what we will do.
A lot of times, people, if they get time, family, they get it. You've been a football lifer. I'm sure your family understands that, but your son's coaching as well. We get a chance to watch him that weekend? Like, how does that go?
I probably will. I'll probably roll up there and watch him play. Yeah.
That's cool. I know you guys still have that matchup a little bit later. How about as far as it's so time consuming? Do you get time for, I don't know, other college football, other NFL, or are you just too consumed right now?
Well, NFL, we watch so little pro football. I mean, we're working on Sundays, so you don't really see it. You see some college football if you play a night game, and you'll see it during the day a little bit. And our last game was at 4:00, so that kind of cuts off because we start our preparation for the game 3-4 hours before the game. So limited in the morning for sure.
One moment I thought that was really cool, just for perspective of your program for the local programs. I was watching the Monday night game and Packers and Raiders, and there's Daniel Whelan ready to punt, and obviously a former Aggie, and he's punting to DeAndre Carter from the Raiders, who's a former Sacramento State Hornet. And it was just, I thought it was pretty cool. I don't know if anybody else caught that, but it's an Aggie to a Hornet, and you know it, Coach. If you can play, they'll find you. I think it's cool that you guys have guys, and so do the Hornets and other people in the FCS that can make it to the NFL.
Well, the misnomer a little bit is at our level of football, they think, you have lesser players. Well, we don't have lesser players. We have 63 scholarships. FBS has 85. So we may not have as many, but you still have I don't know, there's 150 guys out there that are FCS players in the National Football League. So you've got Marte Mapu playing in the league, and Keelan Doss, our receivers with the Chargers, and Jake Mayers up in Canada. You still have very good football players, and we just don't have as many. It's funny in the offensive line. The average size of the all-conference offensive lineman in the Big Sky is almost 6'5", 312 pounds.
Wow.
So, you think, okay, I got this scrappy 6'2", 250-pound guy. Well, hey, guess what? We got big dudes too.
Yeah.
So we may not have as many, but we still have them.
Yeah, they're out there, and hopefully they'll be out there ready to go for you guys this Saturday as you take on Weber. Coach, safe journey there. Best of luck this weekend, and we look forward to talking to you next week.
Yeah, appreciate everything. Thanks. Go Eggs.
All right, thank you. That's head coach Dan Hawkins of the UC Davis Aggies, as they really do have. That's a big game this week for them. They still can get to places they would like to get to, as he said, but they now feel like they're in that mode where they've got to win every week, and sometimes that's to an advantage, right? There's less margin for error. You're already in that playoff mode, but they probably need they might be able to get away with one more loss. I don't think coach wants that, but they that 8-3 number would definitely get them in. 7-4 probably gets them in. So no wiggle room right now with the Aggies now at 3-3. All right, we've got some wiggle room for us to take a break. When we come back, 3 questions, 3 answers. Oh, we got a theme to this one. I think Chris will like this on 3 for Madness. That is next.
What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m. on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
When your people are ready, your business is ready. Cintas makes sure they have what they need to perform their best. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, fire protection systems that are tested and inspected, first aid and safety supplies, floor mats, or cleaning tools and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together, so visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Uma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Uma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Uma?
Yep. Switching to Uma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Uma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at Uma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
NorCal Sportsman Show, October 14th and 15th at the grounds in Roseville.
3 questions, 3 answers. It's 3 for Madness on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Here's question 1.
All right, it is that time for 3 for Madness. 3 questions, 3 answers. It could be all over the board. It looks like we got some pop culture references today amongst a couple of things. But let's start, Christopher Laud, with question number 1. Let's start with 1 today. We'll go with number 1 first.
You sure?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. New face in a new place, Dylan Brooks was up to his old ways. He was tossed in his Rockets debut with a groin shot.
Ouch.
If he were a player on the Sacramento Kings, would you like him?
It's one of those things like, oh, you don't like the guy, but if he's on your team, you got to love him. I'm not a Dylan Brooks fan. I don't think I would. There's been Kings in the past that I haven't enjoyed. I don't prefer his style. Sometimes you can confuse cheap shots or just unnecessary talking as that's the guy you need. He's got an edge. He's got a chip. He's tough. I don't know. I'm not saying he's a fake tough guy. I don't know how tough he is. But, I mean, think about that. He got paid, and I have no issues with that. Rockets electing to sign him, to play him, and 5 minutes in, groin shot on Daniel Tice, and he's booted from the first home game he's in. And it's preseason, but there's a reputation there, Chris, for him. And I personally just not the biggest Dylan Brooks fan. Not for me. He's not one of my guys.
He's not my guy.
He's not my guy. All right, question 2.
Question 2.
On this date in 1975, Saturday Night Live debuted.
Yeah.
Over the years, who is the best sports-related figure to host SNL?
So I thought about this one. And my immediate answer, I'm going to say in a moment. But then I was reminded in my head, I go, wait, sports-related figure. Because, Chris, my initial answer and my thought was Peyton Manning. I think there's a lot of memorable skits that he had. I think he's got a pretty good delivery. I really enjoyed his episode. I mean, there was, and to my knowledge, has he only done it once? I think he's only been on once.
Yeah, only.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I know
once.
Eli's once, but his episode was really good.
I think he was on with Eli.
Okay, but I think the majority of his memorable skits, kind of stuff that's lived in our world, right? Pop culture that's kind of stayed with us are from his episode. And so that's where I wanted to go. But then I went, wait a minute. The Rock's been on several times.
But do you only count The Rock when he was in the WWE? Can you count The Rock when he's an actor?
I think I think he's permanently going to be a sports-related figure. I mean, he's an actor. I don't want to disrespect the craft, but, well, I guess that's the question. Do you count The Rock? Because, I mean, he's had more opportunities, more bites at the apple, and he's been pretty good.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Do you have other, like someone on the text line says Michael Jordan? I think he's got a couple of memorable skits, but I don't remember him. I remember watching that when it happened, and I thought, oh, he's a little uncomfortable.
Derek Jeter was surprisingly good.
Derek Jeter was good. Barkley is so bad sometimes, but he's kind of funny, good, but he's pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's Barkley. Who else is Robert De Niro. I feel
Yeah,
like
it's
Robert De Niro
terrible.
and Barkley are similar in this sense, where
Robert De Niro and Charles Barkley
they are like,
similar.
I feel like De Niro is one. I mean, they're obviously reading their lines, but he is reading it like, no, I don't want you to go to the coffee shop. Like, Robert, you pull out this
You're an Academy Award-winning actor.
And it's like, did you just get the line today? And Barkley, I have less of an issue with because it's not what he does, but trying to think of who else has been, Travis Kelce was on this last year and I felt he was pretty smooth.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the best I've ever seen, but I was like, wow, he looks really comfortable. Any other sports figures stand out to you?
Who was absolutely awful was Michael Phelps.
I knew you were going to say that. He was a reader. Right?
Which one of these sports hosts do you quote the most from one of their sketches?
Well, you and I quote Eli a decent amount.
And you responded with one word spelled Kewl. And that just means, well, no, how do you pronounce that word actually?
Q.
I see. And that just means
cool.
People have said Walter Payton. I don't remember Walter Payton. Guys, it has to be hands down Joe Montana.
Man, I don't remember that. I know Wayne Gretzky hosted at some point.
Yeah. Brady. Tom Brady was okay, I think.
Yeah.
LeBron
was
pretty good. LeBron was pretty good. He had at least, did he do it twice? I know he did at least once.
I think it's only once.
And then, there's probably more cameos that have been done, or when they reference sports and sports figures. I think that's always good. But I like that how they've, SNL to me has done a really good job of that over the years, whether it's been political figures, sports figures, just try to allow those people to poke fun at themselves. But to me, so what's your answer? Is it Peyton or is it Rock?
I'm actually going to go. I thought Eli was really funny. Yeah.
That good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nah, I'm going with Derek Jeter.
Yeah. How about the Kings SNL skit? That was pretty good.
Oh, fantastic.
And didn't we figure out, isn't there someone there that's a writer from Sacramento?
Yeah, because they had Dale Shornack as one of the characters before.
Yeah. Like, wait, how are they picking Dale Shornack and then Kings? And yeah, there's obviously someone there from Sacramento. All right, question number 3.
On this day in 2006, 30 Rock was released, which featured Tina Fey, formerly of Saturday Night Live, who has been the most successful cast member from SNL.
I mean, now that's successful. I think they've even done, successful in money made, in career afterwards. That's a tough one to say. Tina Fey would be up there.
Actually, I think the answer is pretty clear.
Eddie Murphy?
No.
Robert Downey Jr.?
Robert Downey Jr.
As far as what? Money made, acting chops?
But like no one considers Robert Downey Jr.
One season,
SNL,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, pretty successful. I think it was one season. Billy Crystal.
I don't like Billy Crystal.
You don't like it. But I mean, he's been successful.
Yes.
People will go Steve Martin, but I don't think he was ever technically a cast member. Martin Short, Eddie Murphy, Mike Myers, in a sense, if you go to animated movies, like he's crazy, done well there. Jimmy Fallon's had a nighttime show. That a lot of people have done well.
You're forgetting the one.
Who?
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell. I think you're going to say Will Forte.
Oh, he's my guy.
Yeah. You like your guys. Amy Poehler. I mean, they've done really well. Adam Sandler. I mean, think about the amount of movies and money he's made. Again, I don't know what deeming successful. Did you watch 30 Rock? That was a really good show.
That's one every time I watched it, I loved it, but I never got into it.
I didn't watch all the seasons or all the shows, but I'm with you. I watched some of it when it was on. Then I was watching it pretty regularly. Didn't see everything. And I don't remember seeing many reruns lately, but there was a time where it was kind of in the.
You've 100% seen more. I've probably seen like 6 to 7 episodes.
Oh, no, I've seen more than that for sure, but not all of them. But then every one, I go, gosh, this is so well written. It's so clever and funny. But it's been a long time since I've seen that. Alec Baldwin was good in that. Tracy Morgan. Yeah. SNL's done well for themselves. And they're finally back this week. Unfortunately.
Technically.
Yeah, with Pete Davidson. You're in my, not our favorite from that show. But yeah, I mean, a pretty eventful day. If you got 1975 Saturday Night Live debuting on this day, and then 2006 30 Rock. I've said this, I'll say it before, I'll say it again. I don't think there's any show that I've seen more than Saturday Night Live. I mean, basically because it's been on that long. I mean, I think the only other one would be SportsCenter, I guess. But like this show is, I wouldn't say I've seen absolutely every Saturday Night Live, but I would say 95% of it.
As soon as like DVRs came around, that's like
it's permanently on.
What's weird is like Saturday Night Live, people are like, oh, it's not as good as it used to be. Oh, I liked it when I was younger, blah, 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 which is fine. But it is the perfect show for YouTube.
It is. It is. The DVR is great. And I think still to me, there's plenty of people that are along that line, like, it's not the same. It's not that. It's different. It's actually done different. It's kind of for bite-sized materials. Like they do want to get stuff that gets sent to YouTube and sent to social media, but not every show is a hit, but there are hits throughout the season. That's the thing. And I think
it is like professional wrestling where it comes on every single time at this time.
Yep.
There's going to be something you find that was bad, something that you found that was good. And then occasionally, but there'll be that one part like, oh, this is perfect. This is so good.
That was well done. Yeah. I mean, is it different than a 162 game baseball season? If you're a Kings fan, 82 games, some will be incredible games. Others will be, it's kind of nondescript, but it's still entertainment. Yeah, that's how I feel about the show. And they're still rolling right along. All right. When we come back, the NBA GM survey is done each and every year. We're going to go over some of the responses and answers, including one that helps support an argument I've had for years about the Kings and even De'Aaron Fox, that if he could just get to the playoffs, he'll get more attention. I'll explain the result and the difference in the GM survey. That is coming up next.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's Wednesday. We're off to a cooler start to the day. Thanks to the clouds, it'll start to thin out as we head through the afternoon. Plan to see plenty of sunshine. It'll be bright and breezy. Highs in the mid-70s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Imagine taking a nice warm bath in your shower. Let us fix that. Right now, get that clogged drain unclogged for just $97. Bonnie, plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
For a business to thrive, there needs to be a constant stream of new customers. This happens through strong lead generation. Did you know that lead generation is one of the most important tools of any marketing campaign? Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products and services to them. To get started today, contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results today.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
As a mom, I'd do anything to keep my child out of physical pain. As a doctor, I know that growth spurts can cause pain in my child's feet, and that can affect their legs and back too.
This is Dr. Pamela Maida, a board-certified orthopedic surgeon.
Children especially benefit from arch supports as a sturdy and supportive foundation for their developing feet. If your kids have pain, then I recommend Youth Arch Supports from the Good Feet store.
Youth Arch Supports are designed to alleviate, even eliminate common pain in the feet, knees, hip, or back. If your child is physically active with sports, clubs, or even on the playground, they may benefit from the comfort and support found in Good Feet Youth Arch Supports.
I firmly believe that investing in Youth Arch Supports for your child or teen is one of the best decisions you can make to support their feet.
See how Youth Arch Supports can help with a free arch support fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. What's happening for Jeep Adventure Days?
With gas prices skyrocketing, good gas mileage is more important now than ever. And right now, you can save up to $11,000 off MSRP when you lease a new 2024 Jeep Wrangler Sport S 4xe plug-in hybrid.
But what about hauling the family around?
Well, save even more with up to $14,000 off MSRP when you lease a new 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited 4xe plug-in hybrid. Great mileage and big savings on one of America's most loved SUVs.
These deals can't last long, so hurry in to Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram or see our whole selection at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period. $11,000 total Wrangler 4xe net savings on lease only after $8,500 factory rebates and $2,500 dealer discount. $14,000 total Grand Cherokee 4xe net savings on lease only after $11,500 factory rebates and $2,500 dealer discount. Lease options subject to credit approval. Not everyone will qualify. Rebates include $7,500 federal tax credit rebate. Subject to change without notice. 5 of each net savings. See dealer for details.
NorCal Sportsman Show, October 14th and 15th at the grounds in Roseville.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Lod with your Sactown Sports headlines. The Sacramento Kings' second preseason game is tonight when they take on the Los Angeles Lakers in Anaheim. You can listen to the game or with game night at 5:30 and tip-off scheduled for 7 right here on Sactown Sports. Texas Rangers beat the Baltimore Orioles 7-1 to sweep the 101-game winners. Rangers move on to the ALCS where they will meet the winners of the Astros and Twin Series. Reminder, all guests come to you via the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Those are your headlines. Now let's get back to the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Waking you up with the best in local sports.
They just make it interesting, you know?
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
on Sactown Sports.
Earlier this hour, we visited with UC Davis football coach Dan Hawkins. If you ever miss anything on the show, you can go back to SactownSports.com. Show is podcasted at the completion, so check that out. Later, still to come, about 30 minutes from now, in studio, Brendan Nunes will be joining us. We look forward to hearing from him as he is helping us out at Sactown Sports, covering the Kings along with Frankie. And then at 9, we got our Sactown Sports 49ers insider, Emil Frosao, set to join us. So lots of things ahead over the next couple of hours of the show. We mentioned tonight, and you heard in Chris's update, Kings basketball, Kings and Lakers this evening, and we'll have a little preview of that coming up a little bit later. But want to get into the NBA GM survey. This is something, the annual survey is here. They've been doing this for years, where the general managers react to, I don't know, a handful of, I guess it's 50 questions. Wow, I didn't realize it was that many. 50 questions ahead from the new season, and kind of share their insight, the guys that are in and around the teams and making off-season moves and thoughts on their teams and other teams. So I thought I'd go through a couple of these and let you know where the Kings fall in play in some of these, and just some other things that were a little surprising to me. As far as predictions, which team will win the 24 finals, NBA finals next year? They've got the top is a tie with the Nuggets, the reigning champs, and the Boston Celtics. Last year, Milwaukee had the highest percentage, and they're down to third, even while adding Dame. Western Conference rankings, according to the GMs and the way that polling went, they see the rankings going Denver, Phoenix, Lakers, Golden State, Clippers, Memphis, in a tie for 7th, New Orleans, and Sacramento. So in that scenario, the Kings would be in the play-in, according to the GMs. Who will win the NBA MVP? Nikola Jokic at 43%, followed by Giannis. Last year, the overwhelming favorite, nearly 50%, was Luka Doncic. Now he's down to 4th. Still a good player, still the same guy. Suddenly, he went further down in the rankings. If you were to start a franchise today and could sign any player in the NBA, who would it be? Nikola Jokic getting the highest percentage. Number 2 is Victor Wembanyama. The interesting thing, Giannis dropped to 3rd at 13% last year. Still the same guy, 55% of the votes. Which player is most likely to have a breakout season this upcoming year? The highest percentage went to Anthony Edwards. Also mentioned Cade Cunningham, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, Tyrese Maxey. Here's another category or questions that get a little bit cloudy here when it's asked who's the best point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and best center. Curry is number 1 in point guard and number 2 in shooting guard. Luka is on the point guard list, shooting guard list, small forward list. I guess it's positionless basketball. He's not top in any of those, but he's on all of the top 5. All right, now let's get to some things that might interest you as far as the Kings go. Who was the most underrated player, or what was the most underrated player acquisition? Number 1, Marcus Smart. This is according to the GMs at 17%, followed by Grant Williams for Dallas, 14%. A bunch of players receiving about 7% of the votes, but also receiving votes from Sacramento, Sasha Vezenkov, listed by GMs as an underrated acquisition. Which team will improve the most this upcoming year? GMs think Oklahoma City Thunder, followed by Houston, then Dallas, Detroit, Orlando. Well, Thunder and Rockets make some sense because they've got a long way to go. But remember, the Thunder still were a play-in team and about a 40-win team. So that'll be a tough one to improve on. Who was the most surprising move of the offseason? According to the GMs, they said it was the Holiday Lillard trade, followed by the Smart Porzingis trade and Chris Paul to Golden State. All right, rookies and international. Who will win the Rookie of the Year? Victor Wembanyama, 50%. Scoot Henderson, 27%. Chet Holmgren, 20%. Sasha Vezenkov, he got votes, but just 3%. Some more things involving the Sacramento Kings that you might find of interest. I thought he might show up on this list, but did not. Who was the best perimeter defender in the NBA? Thought there would be some votes. I didn't think he'd be in the top 5, but I thought there'd be some votes for Davion. He did not get any votes. The number 1 choice was Drew Holiday at 50%. Let's see. Where else can we go here? Who is the best coach in the NBA? Eric Spoelstra won that dramatically, with distance over Ty Lue, Steve Kerr, Greg Popovich, Michael Malone. Some other things that revolved around the Sacramento Kings. What head coach runs the best offense? According to GMs, number 1, Mike Brown, Sacramento. Which head coach has the best defensive schemes? Mike Brown received votes. Number 1 was Eric Spoelstra. This according to GMs. Who is the best assistant coach in the NBA? Receiving votes was Jay Triano, but number 1 with a pretty good distance, Jordy Fernandez. And to me, this is going to be another compliment to Mike Brown. I think Mike Brown is so comfortable in his own skin, is comfortable having 2 assistant coaches here being listed, including one that was rumored to be in many jobs this offseason. I think that's good for him. I think that's good for this organization. I think Mike Brown has learned from Pop who has a pretty good coaching tree, Steve Kerr, who now has a pretty good coaching tree, that it's okay to have assistants that are qualified to be NBA head coaches. Jay Triano's been a head coach. Jordy Fernandez, this is likely his last year in Sacramento. I think Doug Christie could be a head coach. You got others there. Luke Laux. I think there's a lot of good coaches on the staff, but that's good. You want people that are coveted by other organizations. You want to have people that you have connections with get spread around the league. I think that's helpful, not harmful. And too many times in the past, the Kings not only had a head coach that maybe didn't get another job after leaving here, or none of the assistants were that highly coveted around the league in the past. Well, that's different now. One, they're winning. That helps. But also, I just think they're really well coached. And I think the GMs see it that way. Which active player will make the best head coach someday? They got Chris Paul at number 1. Others on that list receiving votes. Tyrese Halliburton received some votes. I think he would make a good head coach in the future if that's something he wants to do. Which team is the most fun to watch?
I will say Tyrese, he might have a job as a wrestling reporter.
Boy, he doesn't want to give that up. He's all into that, isn't he?
It's like, I'm like, that guy looks a lot like Tyrese Halliburton.
He's really enjoying himself. Which team is the most fun to watch? Denver was number 1, Golden State 2, Sacramento Kings a close third, receiving 20%. I would agree with the Kings they're fun. That's an entertaining brand of basketball. This one surprised me a little bit. I have to say this. Which team has the best home court advantage? Denver, I agree with that, just altitude, and obviously it's a good team, 37%. The Warriors, number 2. The Kings were 3, and I'm not surprised. That's not a shot at the fans by any means. I know the fan base is incredible, and I think it can be a really difficult place to play. The Kings just haven't had that great of a home court record at Golden One. That to me has been, while this team got better last year, that still was a little bit of a surprise. I wanted them to be even more dominant going forward at home. Which team will have the most efficient offense this season? Remember, the Kings had the best offense historically ever last year. They're voted number 2 at 21%. Denver is above them at 34%. Let's see. Which team has the most promising young core? Oklahoma City Thunder at 73%. Back to what I was talking earlier in the show about when we played the highlight of the Bielitsa game winner against Houston. Less than 4 years ago, both the Rockets and the Kings, just major roster turnover. So I know that there's a promising young core for the Thunder, but that core is going to be broken up. It just is. It's the way the sport goes. Some of the pieces will stick around, but they'll either move some for future assets. Some won't make the cut. They'll move on from them. They'll add free agents. It'll just be a different team overall. Which player is the most athletic? According to the GMs, it's Ja Morant. Which player is the best shooter? That's Steph Curry with 90% of the votes. All right, here's the one that I found about De'Aaron Fox interesting, because I don't disagree with the GMs. I just question their thought process. Which player is the fastest with the ball? According to 57% of the GMs, it's De'Aaron Fox. Last year, and second is Ja Morant at 37%. Last year, it was Ja Morant at 62%. He won that category. So did De'Aaron get faster in one off season with the ball? I don't think so. I think he was equally fast last year. I think the GMs, a lot of them, really got to look at the Sacramento Kings last year. They saw them more. They saw them in the playoffs. They saw them in meaningful games. They saw them late in the year. They saw De'Aaron Fox have a great year, and all of a sudden he became fastest with the ball. He's fast. He's always been fast. I think since his rookie year, I think the debate, he should be in the competition and conversation, and he's always been up there, but now he's number 1 and got that separation on that by 20% over Ja Morant. Which player is best at moving without the ball? That goes to Steph Curry. And a few other things. Best leader, LeBron James. Most versatile player, according to the GMs, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Highest basketball IQ, Nikola Jokic. And there's a few more questions there as far as the NBA GM survey. I always find it interesting. There's different results, different things to pick apart, but the Kings are on there far more often than they've been in the past. And part of that obviously goes to last season's success, this year's expectations, but what Sabonis, what Fox, what Mike Brown, I mean, look at what the Kings did in the postseason awards. Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year. You had a couple of All-NBA players. Keegan Murray was all-rookie team, set rookie records. Kings have a good thing going, and they're going to try to back it up with another season. That's the tough part. Mike Brown told us that on Media Day when Carmichael, Dave, and I interviewed him, said, look, the jump we made was difficult and significant and noteworthy, all the things they had to do. But the next jump is the difficult one, going from being a good team to a great team. And the Kings were good last year. At times they were great. At times they weren't. But I think if you're capsuling them as a team, they were very good. And to be great, you have to, some of the things I've talked about, certainly improve defensively, get into the top 15, top 10. You have to become dominant on your home court. You have to find ways to win playoff series. And that's the next step of the evolution. It really is. So tonight, the Kings are back at it. They play the Lakers. We'll have a little preview on that. We got some practice audio as well as more Kings discussion coming up in your home of the Kings. Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Mike Brown built on last season's Coach of the Year award. Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Hey, if you're thinking about getting the latest iPhone, check this out. With Boost Infinite, you get the latest iPhone every year and unlimited wireless for just $60 a month. Yeah, you get the new titanium iPhone 15 Pro that was just announced. Then again, next year, you get the latest iPhone. Every year. Boost Infinite. Infinitely better. To learn more, pick up your phone, dial pound 250 and say Boost Infinite. That's pound 250 and say Boost Infinite. Terms apply. After 30 gigabytes, service may be slowed. Receive a comparable iPhone model each year with an acceptable trade-in every year. Requires credit qualification and 36-month phone financing agreement. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dial text message from this station's network.
It's time for the fall haul at Northern Tool and Equipment. Get your hands on tough tools at prices that are tough to ignore. Got plans? Cancel them. Trucks in the shop? Borrow someone else's. Don't like saving money? Right. So head to the fall haul at Northern Tool. Stock up at the season's biggest event and get huge savings on brands like Milwaukee, Honda, and Ingersoll Rand. Shop at northerntool.com. We're made for this.
Hey, it's Carmichael, Dave, asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
One of the reasons people buy new cars is because of the warranty. They don't want to have to worry about things breaking and the fear of unexpected repair costs. But did you know Elk Grove Kia has one of the longest warranties around at 20 years or 200,000 miles? No other Kia dealer offers that. You would have to be a real to buy from anyone other than Elk Grove Kia. And if you're worried about financing, don't. Elk Grove Kia believes in second, third, and sometimes fourth chances because Elk Grove Kia's management team has over 100 years of combined automotive experience. We know how to say yes a lot more than the others do. Collections, past due bills, repos, bankruptcies. Your job is your credit. So where others fail to get you into your new ride, we can get you qualified. Let Elk Grove Kia show you why we're out to be the #1 Kia dealer in California. So when you're ready for some peace of mind and a friendly face, come visit us. Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or check us out online at elkgrovekia.com.
Elk Grove Kia.
The only place in the morning to get your sports fix.
Live and local.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Yeah, Carmichael Dave will be back in studio on Monday. Jason Ross here with you. Chris Verlad as well. Brendan Nunes will join us here at the top of the hour for a couple segments in studio. Look forward to checking in with him. Lots of Kings discussion coming your way. And Kings basketball tonight. It'll be good to be back with that as Sacramento taking on the Lakers in Anaheim.
This time, the preseason games, it reminds me as a kid when Christmas is coming, and then you have to go to church like the weeks before, and it's just like, hey, Christmas is coming, and it's just like, you just have to sit with it and hear like, hey, it's about to be here, and you're like, yeah,
anticipation. Yeah, you get a little slice of what it could be, and that's the thing too. Like I said earlier, the Kings played really well the last 2 preseasons, so you're like, this is great. I think the team's going to be really good. Well, 2 years ago they were. Last year they were good, but then you even had to live through the first 4 games. You're like, man, they're 0-4.
It's the same thing all over
I
again.
go, gosh, I thought they were going to be good, and then it just starts to happen, and it's just you get reminded every year that there's peaks and valleys and lulls, and tonight maybe the preseason game goes great, maybe it's awful. It's really not an indictment of what's ahead. I mean, you just have to wait for it.
There is going to be a string of games where we're all thinking they're not going to lose.
Yeah.
They can't lose how well they're. And then there's going to be a time like, are they even going to win again?
I know. That's the weird one is when you kind of get into that negative thought. Like maybe they'll lose, especially this year where there's more expectations. Let's say they're in a 2 to 3 game losing streak. And then when they're doing that and they're maybe not playing very well, and then you just start to look at the schedule like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that you'll rationalize anything in any way. If you're looking positively or negatively, like, yeah, I know. Or Orlando's only got 4 wins, but I mean, that's a road game and that's probably a loss the way the Kings are playing. And then, oh man, back to back in Miami, that'll be a loss. So that's 5. And then, oh, look who they come home for. Milwaukee. I mean, Portland though, look what they've done. Then all of a sudden you're just making this list and you're like, I think we're looking at like a 10-game losing streak. And then they win the next game. Yeah, I think they're probably going to win the next 5. Like, were you just saying a 10-game losing streak? We all go through these cycles. That's why the coaches I don't know if they keep their sanity. They try to. Let's hear from Mike Brown yesterday talking about what he would like to see from the Kings versus the Lakers.
Well, to see if we can string a few more possessions together of playing fast, but also playing together and playing the right way. And then defensively, taking care of the transition game and being physical without fouling. I thought those were some of the things that hurt us against Toronto, especially when we turned the ball over. We didn't necessarily have that next play mentality, meaning that, hey, immediately you got to transition as opposed to drop your head or your shoulders and then transition.
Yeah, I mean, coaches and all coaches, but certainly NBA coaches will look for, okay, on the positive side, what were the good things in the game against Toronto? Okay, can we capitalize on that like Mike Brown said now? 4 minutes of good basketball, can we turn that into 6 minutes or 8 minutes or just really stretch that out of consistently good play? Now, part of the thing I also heard Coach Brown yesterday in some of his comments was if you now fast forward to January, let's say, and the Kings are playing in the regular season, not only are they going to, I think their rotations could constantly change, even game by game, or just different people that you expect to be in. But for the most part, Fox is in. And so when we're saying the bench is in, well, maybe it's 3 or 4 bench players with Fox and maybe Sabonis is still in, or Sabonis stays in and there's 2 bench players. It's not right now. They're basically going like subs of 5 almost. And so trying different things, trying to find different pairings, trying to find different groupings. Let's go from the player's perspective here. De'Aaron Fox also talking about what they're trying to work on.
For us, just what we're doing defensively and then just the new wrinkles in our offense. Trying to cut down on turnovers. Obviously, I think we missed a lot of bunnies last game. Not necessarily worried about that. But then defensively, the Lakers are one of the best transition teams in the league as well. So how do we look as far as trying not to commit turnovers, not to give them easy baskets, and then even on a make or miss shot, us getting back and just being able to guard the rim.
Yeah, so that's what De'Aaron's talking about. It's kind of lockstep with the coach on things they're trying to improve on. De'Aaron also addressed yesterday something we've been talking about, the aggressiveness of Keegan. That's something that happened at times in the first preseason game. We know we want to see more. Here's Fox on now the second-year pro Keegan Murray.
I think it was good. I told him he better not let Pascal just take the ball from him like that again at half court. But no, I think he was a little bit more comfortable playing off the bounds, getting to the basket. Just his overall aggressive level, I feel like, has gone up, and that's what we want out of him. He shoots the ball so well. He's so efficient at what he already does. We just want to be able to expand his game a little bit more.
Yeah, I think the expansion of his game is an interesting phrasing because obviously last year he proved to be just an amazing catch and shoot efficient shooter. I mean, he did. I don't look at him as this high volume take guys off the dribble and get to the basket. Now he showed a little float game last game. He did have a couple of good cuts, had the dunk. I mean, if he's going to move, Sabonis is going to find you. Fox will too. Monk, whoever he's playing with, the distributors, I think they can do that. But, I don't look at Keegan like we look at De'Aaron Fox. I mean, De'Aaron Fox can make the first man miss every time. So now you've put stress on the defense, whether it's help or late help or no help, and De'Aaron gets all the way to the basket. That's creating things for others. I think Keegan's still in a spot where you just want more from his offense, more than just a catch and shoot, more than a guy that Keegan's a good shooter. He needs to take advantage of getting to the line and getting a couple of attempts a game. He didn't get very many free throw attempts last year. So there's levels of improvement that Keegan needs to make offensively. I think they're capable, but I don't know if they're all going to happen in one off season. As far as some new faces, one of them is JaVale McGee. He's working with that second unit, Malik Monk. De'Aaron Fox talked about that tandem.
I mean, Malik is one of the best pick and roll guys in the league, and JaVale is an extreme vertical threat. So I think that does nothing but help, obviously, Malik, and it helps us as a whole. When JaVale's rolling, I mean, guys have to tag him, or else it's going to be a lob fest the rest of the entire game. So that makes our offense even that much more dynamic.
Yeah, I think the potential of what JaVale McGee can help with this team, I think is intriguing. I really am excited about him in the front court, truly as a backup to Sabonis, and a different style, different type of backup than the Kings have had in the past. All right, let's get back to Mike Brown, the head coach of the Kings. Talked about Sasha's game, the first one in Canada.
He played well for us offensively, I thought, against Toronto, and he's getting better. And again, like I said, we're just taking a look at different combinations. We may throw Sasha in with the second five and Duarte with the third five. There's the only thing that may not happen is I don't think I'll mess with the starting five, but the second and the third five can change it at any time. But Sasha, again, showed some of his versatility on the offensive end of the floor for us that people will expect to see come this year.
All right, so there's what Coach addressed that I talked about earlier in the show. I think the reality is if we take the starting five from last year and just plug and play it this year, that's Fox, that's Herter, Barnes, Murray, Sabonis. Okay, if that's the five, Coach said he may not tweak with that very much. The next five at the moment, at least in game one in Toronto or in Vancouver against Toronto, was Davion Mitchell, Malik Monk, we saw Chris Duarte, Trey Lyles, and JaVale McGee. I think that's a 10 that makes a lot of sense, and the 11th player is Sasha Vezenkov. Now, at least he was the other day. He just said it there. I could maybe put him in and then put Duarte with that next five. If he's playing him in 5-man chunks, it makes some sense. I wouldn't be very surprised at all if, as the year goes along, we see a lot more of Sasha Vezenkov. But here's a little question and answer with Brown about Sasha and his defense.
What you saw in that first preseason game from him defensively, and how much of it is just adjusting to NBA speed, athleticism?
His defense against Toronto was at best okay. He gave up middle a couple of times, and we're a no middle team. He's got to keep the ball on the sideline, and then he's got to make sure that he continues to understand the league, and so he's got to watch as much film as he can on guys that he may match up against so that he can try to pick up on their tendencies sooner than later.
All right. Well, there's at least a reference point for some of you out there of what Coach is really harping on with Sasha. That obviously will get better, needs to get better according to the coach. We're a no middle team. He was giving up middle. I think those are easy teaching points and reference points. Now, executing is another part. So obviously a point of emphasis for Coach Brown, and that's an area where Sasha has to improve. This team entirely has to improve. The defense has to get better, and I like what people were saying in camp. Now they got to show it when it matters, whether that's preseason or just adjusting to those principles, because I think if anybody spent any amount of time watching the Kings and Warriors playoff series, you could tell right away how physical it just changed. It was just the holding, grabbing, the getting to your spots was more difficult. The Kings figured that out, and I think played a lot better defense. And so once they figured out what it takes to play postseason defense, if they can be as close as they can to trying to do that in the regular season, now you got something to go with what should be another highly effective and efficient offense for Mike Brown. All right, so there's some thoughts on the Kings. Kings and Lakers tonight. We're looking forward to it. We'll have more coming up because joining us in studio from Sactown Sports, we got Brendan Nunes. He is going to be joining us. We'll do that for a couple of segments. That's coming your way next here on Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's Wednesday. We're off to a cooler start to the day. Thanks to the clouds, it'll start to thin out as we head through the afternoon. Plan to see plenty of sunshine. It'll be bright and breezy. Highs in the mid-70s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Imagine taking a nice warm bath in your shower. Let us fix that. Right now, get that clogged drain unclogged for just $97. Bonnie, plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
Gold Country Casino Resort and or American Idol winner Chase Beckham, Saturday, November 18th.
Now I'm 23.
Don't miss out on your chance to see this talented country artist live.
If you don't take in the backwards fireflies.
Get your tickets now to see Chase Beckham at goldscountrycasino.com. November 18th at 8 p.m.
Gold Country Casino Resort.
Must be 21 or older.
Model year-end pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the model year-end event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you find the right customers, spread awareness of your product or services. We can help build trust in your brand and services with a digital marketing campaign, increase leads, and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing campaigns that deliver results. Don't wait. Get started today. Contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hobb at Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. What's happening for Ram Power Days?
The biggest sale of the year with up to $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn and Laramie Crew cabs. Or save up to $6,000 off MSRP and get thousands more with 0% financing for 72 months.
Pretty much all your Rams are on sale and 0% financing.
Hoblet is always looking out for you, which is why we have up to $8,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Ram 2500 Crew cabs too. And with over 500 Rams available, we're sure to have your perfect truck at California's #1 Ram truck dealer.
These deals can't last long. See our whole inventory at hobletdodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet. 12,000 total net savings after 6,000 factory rebates and 6,000 dealer discounts. Rebates include $1,000 loyalty bonus cash for current owners of Stellantis brand vehicle and $1,000 case construction cash. Must have purchased eligible case equipment from qualifying dealer. Or take 0% financing for 72 months plus 6,000 dealer discounts. Offer on approved credit through Chrysler Capital. Plus 700 plus FICO score to qualify. 0% for 72 months equals $1,389 per $1,000 borrowed. 8,000 total net savings after 3,000 factory rebates and 5,000 dealer discounts. Rebates may include $1,000 case construction and 500 first responder bonus cash for current members of eligible first responder association. 10 of each offer. See dealer for details.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber, down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a two-hand rip, a brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Ladd with your Sactown Sports headlines. The Sacramento Kings' second preseason game is tonight when they take on the Los Angeles Lakers in Anaheim. You can listen to tonight's game with game night at 5:30 and tip-off scheduled for 7 right here on Sactown Sports. The Texas Rangers beat the Baltimore Orioles 7-1 to sweep the 101-game winners. The Rangers move on to the ALCS, where they will meet the winners of the Astros and Twins series. Reminder, all guests come to you via the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Those are your headlines. Now let's get back to the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sactown Sports.
All right, here we go. 8 o'clock hour underway. We thank you for joining us on YouTube. If you're there, hit the thumbs up button, right? I mean, you're taking the time to view us, which we appreciate. And you can also see Brendan Nunes in studio with a hoodie. They were guessing my hoodie color. That's a brown, got brown Nike hoodie.
Mine's a pretty straightforward color.
Mine's like the most basic faded navy blue, I guess. I mean, that's
some sort of blue.
Basic.
Yeah, basic. But people are like, oh, he's going to wear the UCLA hoodie, a gray hoodie. I have a lot of hoodies.
It's always hoodies.
I didn't realize it, but now when you I'm getting a complex. I'm like, well, it's sweatshirt weather.
It's not a bad thing. Right. Yeah, it is very much sweatshirt weather, especially this morning.
Yeah. Appreciate you coming down this early.
Glad to do it.
As Brendan, of course, you can read his fine work on Sactown Sports or any of our Twitter feeds. You're a contributor. You're everywhere.
I am.
You're
everywhere. Trying to be.
Yes.
I'm glad to be.
Yes, we're glad you're here with us. Could you pull off the hoodie with a sport coat?
I don't think I have, but I'm planning on it this year.
Oh, it's a move you're going for.
Yeah, we're trying to up the wardrobe a little bit going into this season.
I don't remember you wearing a sport coat to the game.
Yeah, I honestly don't own one.
Okay.
So, but
first sport
that
coat.
is, it's in the works.
Okay.
It's in the works.
So wait, when have you had to attend a wedding or like a formal?
Not for a long time, and I think I've rented stuff here and there. But yeah, no, it's been a while.
You should just come out with a tux.
Yeah.
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 I mean, people are like, whoa.
Deuce Mason.
Yes. Just go full tux. And
I
you're
will
ready to
sometimes.
roll. Okay.
You're
going to change it up?
Again, try to up the wardrobe. Yeah.
Are you upping the wardrobe because of the expectation of the Kings this year?
Sure.
They go hand in hand.
Totally. That's exactly why.
Are the expectations fair? I mean, off of last year and what they've done to keep for this year?
Well, let me start with, what do you think the expectations are?
That's a great question because, you deal with a lot of the fans too. And I'm going to go from the organization's expectations. To me, I don't know that anybody stated it. Monty has always said, look, I want to be a consistently like a championship threat. Last year was so new. I guess technically if you make the playoffs, you can be deemed a championship threat. I don't know that I felt that they were, but I did feel like if they beat the Warriors, I thought they were going to beat the Lakers. I can't prove that. I mean, that gets you to the conference finals. You're pretty close. Well, they didn't beat the Warriors and didn't get a chance to play the Lakers. So my logical step, Brendan, would be improvement. And that doesn't have to be, I'm not interested in them being a 2 or a 1 seed. I'm thinking about playoff improvement. Some of their goals probably are just getting there first, the challenge. So I don't know. What are your, I guess, basic expectations of the team?
Yeah, I think what you laid out is reasonable. I think regular season wins and seeding based on where you were last year, I don't think it's reasonable to expect them to improve from there. I think you could be a 48-win team again this year and still be a better basketball team.
I agree.
I think it's, knowing how teams are going to try to counter you in the postseason and making sure that you implement some things throughout the course of this year that help counter that. And that maybe is Domantas Sabonis' jump shot a little bit. If Davion Mitchell can continue to grow as a 3-point shooter, and that physicality that we're hearing over and over and over again throughout this training camp and summer league and everything that they're emphasizing so much going into this year. So I think it is reasonable to expect for them, or hope and think that it's a understandable possibility for them to get out of the first round. And I think that that's my main success / failure, and failure is probably too harsh of a word for going into this season, because 3 seed is going to be tough. I think throughout a lot of the regular season, a lot of the conversation is going to be just don't be in the play-in.
Right. Avoid that.
Right.
Just because, there's too much risk there.
Yeah.
Right. You could have a bad couple days, late season injuries, and you're like, hey, this was a pretty good team, pretty good season. And it's technically not a playoff trip if you're out in the play-in.
single elimination basketball is chaos.
Yes.
You know, like in Toronto, the Kings shot 22%.
Right.
They only shot that bad, worse than that one time all of last season, but that could happen any given night.
Imagine
if that
that's the
happens in
plan. Yeah, you're gone.
Exactly.
You're like,
Right.
wait, I think they're better than Toronto. You play that way and you're gone. You're like,
Right.
well, I guess they're not. I want to go back to what you said about what they're preaching, and they have said this a lot, and you're at every practice, physicality. What do you think they mean by that? Because I'm curious. I mean, I know what that means, but what do you think their reference is to that?
Yeah, I've tried to ask that a little bit throughout training camp and practices here. And I think a lot of it is pressuring the ball. I think you're going to see a little bit more full court press and doing that, but really fighting through screens, making sure that you're bodying guys and not getting pushed around. Don't let offensive players just sort of jog into their sets and do whatever they want. Make them feel you a little bit and don't let them be so comfortable throughout the course of running their offense. So I think it's a lot of that. It's a lot of, there's situations where guards or forwards are asked to sort of be the help man. And I think it's about being willing to put your body on the line and take charges. They're going to need some of those smaller guys to be willing to do that, which I think falls into physicality. And then rebounding as well. I think they were actually a fine rebounding team last year. It's really just that postseason series against what really is the best offensive rebounder in the NBA in Kevon Looney. And I think that he probably deserves more credit than the Kings do slack for that. But I think it also comes down to rebounding, making sure that you're boxing guys out, putting a body on somebody. And I think even offensively that they want to implement a little bit more physicality in how they're setting their screens and rolling to the basket.
Yeah, and kind of my thought process is very similar to that. My reference was, last year when the Kings were making it towards the playoffs, we knew they would get in, they got in, and then we all kind of said, oh, wow, it's a tough matchup with the Warriors, but they need to learn, they need to go through this. So the going through it, I think the reference that they said during the series, after the series, and even in camp has been how physical the playoffs were. They adjusted to it. I think they matched that. But they also know, like, hey, if we can start closer to that level, and then if we're needed to ramp up, we've got another level to get to. Because I thought they did jump up a level physically, certainly, and defensively. But then legs and different things kind of affect your offense. So that's kind of how I took it. Now, whether or not, I didn't see it necessarily in game one of the preseason, nor did we have to. But that's kind of a tough ask to do for 82 games.
I agree. I think it's very tough. I think you have a great point. Like, doing it for 7 games is so much different. And to your point, like, shots weren't going down on the other end. And I think a lot of that had to do with the physicality on the defensive end. So if you're committed to doing that every single night, how does it affect your shooters? How does it affect Kevin Huerter when he's fighting his butt off on the defensive end? What does that do to his legs offensively when he's already sprinting around as much as he is?
Yeah.
So I think the same thing. I honestly think you brought back the 8 guys who led your team in total minutes last year. And I get Duarte, McGee can make an impact on that end of the floor. I kind of think if your main bet on getting better defensively is we're just going to be more physical, I don't love that formula.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm with you on that. I think offensively they still should be very good. Right. I think there's too many weapons. The way their offense, I feel like the other night, what was the assist total? I think you have it. Didn't they get 29?
Yeah. 29.
And on a night where they shot terribly.
23.
Oh, 23 assists?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought they had 29. Anyway, 23 assists. But it's still, it's kind of in their DNA now. Like, I think that's who they are, where, oh man, they only shot 40%, but there they are living near 30 assists. And I think it's what the Warriors have become for years, but I think this is who the Kings are now, is sharing the ball, spreading it. I think this is who the offense is.
I do too. And I think that this is where weirdly, I could see more improvement for the Kings. Is I think that Keegan Murray could take another step. Obviously, whatever Sasha can bring, which there were interesting comments yesterday, obviously, about where he could sit in the rotation to start the year, but eventually he'll break in, even if it's not that way at the beginning. But Keegan Murray was really, really good in that first game, I thought. It's hard to take too much from preseason, but 1 of 5 from 3, that's fine. He's an elite 3-point shooter. The one he made was beautiful.
Yeah.
But he went 4 of 5 from 2. He had 2 dunks in there, a lefty finish that was nice over a big, and a floater. And if there's a little more, 1-2 dribbles and finishing, that Keegan could add a little layer to their offense here.
I got some wiggle, coach.
Yeah. A little wiggle.
Sasha, you brought him up. I think this is, for right now, fans have always got to be intrigued by something. And actually, I thought in the minutes he played, he was pretty good. Coach was pretty tough on him in his defense, though. We played that clip from yesterday. Early impressions on him, because, you hear from some of the players, they're raving about his shooting. He looks the part in game 1 of preseason, but what do you think of Sasha so far?
Yeah, I think the offense is very real. You know, I think we saw the shooting, but we also saw the cutting, and I think he's got to learn his right moments to do those cuts. Sometimes I think there was one he left the corner and Kessler Edwards threw it into the first row because he wasn't there. So he'll learn the timings, and his teammates will learn his tendencies as well. But it's just going to be about, can he survive defensively? Like Coach Brown has said it pretty bluntly before, that if he was on the other side, he would be targeting that guy. He'd be testing him, like, get him in a switch and see if he can survive. And he needs to just go through that. And if it goes poorly to start, he could get a label of being bad at that. And then it just gets exponentially worse because teams just keep trying to do that. Right. So I think it's just going to be a process. I think that's what we've been hearing the whole time, though. I don't think what we heard yesterday was really all too different. It was just more blunt of, maybe he's not even in the rotation to start. And he didn't say he won't be. He just said maybe. He does not know. And that's what Sasha's been saying from the start, that this is going to be a process. It's going to take time for him to adjust to the NBA game, the physicality and the speed of play, and this entire offensive and defensive scheme that he's coming into. So I think as long as they're on the same page with that, and they very much seem to be, that it's fine. Sasha's a guy that has gone from one league to what is viewed as an improved league or team about 2-3 times in his career. And each time he does it, he's taking a notable drop in minutes and then slowly working his way up as he gets comfortable. So I think as long as Sasha is fine with the way they're approaching this process, it makes sense. And he seems more than content with it.
I also feel like, it's very early stages, that Coach Brown's coaching him pretty hard. I think he did that some with Terrence Davis, with Keegan Murray last year. He says he does, and I believe he does it with Fox and Sabonis. But, I think there's probably belief that he can do all the things that Coach Brown is asking him to do.
Yeah, and he's been receptive to it. Again, I think there's, there was little stuff in that preseason game. I think he played next to Trey Lyles and Alex Len at one point. So maybe they'll play with Sasha playing the 3 a little bit sometimes. Also yesterday at practice, he mentioned like the first unit's probably set.
Yeah.
Right. Barring something crazy.
Sure.
Someone being great or someone, being lackluster in that starting group. But he said the second, third unit really could change at any point.
Yeah.
They're in flux. He specifically said Sasha could move up to the second. We could drop Duarte down to the 3, which again kind of hints at maybe playing Sasha at the 3. So I think they'll find opportunities for him. The hockey subs we saw in game 1 of preseason are not going to be what happens.
Yeah, it's irrelevant.
We didn't see him play next to Domas, which is what I'm most excited for.
Yeah.
And same could be said for Duarte.
Well, we might see some of that tonight. We'll take a quick break here. Brendan Nunes in studio with us. We've got more straight ahead here on Sactown Sports.
Has Monty put together a roster that can help make a deep playoff run this season?
Just trying to give coach options, give him guys that can help us win in a variety of areas. Obviously, our top guys are going to play every game, but there's going to be other times, whether it's injuries, matchups, we've got to have some variety on the bench for coach to point to and say, go in there and help us win.
Tune into every Kings game this season
on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more straight talk. Now you can get a Walmart Plus membership, plus not pay for it, because it's included with Straight Talk wireless plans. You get free delivery with Walmart Plus a Paramount Plus subscription included. Plus, you pay less for gas. That's a lot of pluses.
Only Straight Talk gives you unlimited 5G data and Walmart Plus included on select plans for free.
Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Requires service on Gold or Platinum Unlimited. One offer per eligible account. Paramount Plus Essential Plan only. Separate registration required. Additional terms apply.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave letting you know Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room and primetime football location is back. Cap Casino giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Check it out, Capital Casino. And as always, please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Carmichael Dave.
He has very good sources, and he just kind of tells it as it is and gets to the point.
Jason Ross.
He has a lot of pretty smart things to say. He's good at what he does.
On Sactown Sports.
All right, great to have Brendan Nunes in here from Sactown Sports. You're going to continue to read all his fine work. Frankie was in here yesterday. You guys have this team covered. And it deserves the coverage. I know we saw each other at Media Day. I was a little bit taken back by the amount of other people that were there, a lot of national media around. And I think this is a good thing. This team, is getting some attention that they deserve. And now they got to back it up with another strong year.
Yeah, I think De'Aaron joked, like, this is the first time NBA TV has been here when it
Right.
comes to media day. And it is warranted. You read off the NBA GM survey earlier today, and what they ranked third in most fun team to watch. And it's that offense.
It
right?
is.
You absolutely see it. And De'Aaron Fox is an electric player. The shooting that these guys have, like Malik Monk is bound to do something crazy every game. That could be good. It could be bad.
Exactly.
And you could say the same thing about JaVale McGee going into this year.
Yeah.
So I think it's extremely warranted, but this is the year where there's a little bit more pressure. Like, I think last year they still expected to be good internally.
Yeah.
That was what we heard the whole time. But this year, the rest of the world expects them to be good to an extent.
Yeah. And I think I'd said this in the past that, I think it was almost a, I don't know, lazy narrative is the right term, but people, Brendan, would always say, oh, the West is just so good. It's just so good. And there were a couple years when the Kings were closer to that 10-11 range where the bottom wasn't very good. Like when they were trying to be a play-in team and the Spurs were getting in with 33 wins. I'm like, it's there. Like the top was good, but to say the depth of the conference, I'm like, I don't think it is. Now I think actually
definitely
it's a fair statement to say, at least going into the season by all looks. I mean, to your point, we said earlier, I think the Kings could be considerably better and maybe 8th, 6th. I mean, just because the West is really that good.
It's very tough. I think there's an extremely wide range of where they could end up. Like last year, Pacific Division was 3-7.
Yeah.
With Sacramento at the top of it. And this year, that same NBA GM survey, the Kings are sitting at 7th with all the other Pacific teams above them.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's like too crazy. I think they deserve a little bit more respect than that, but it's an extremely wide range. Like, I think Phoenix improved their depth a little bit throughout the course of some of those recent offseason trades and work in there as a third team. We'll see what Memphis looks like. I think Marcus Smart's a big addition.
Mm-hmm.
The Clippers seem to be a little bit healthy going into training camp. Big question marks there, obviously. And we know what Golden State and the Lakers are. And that's not even like, you can keep going. The New Orleans Pelicans, Zion looked great in his preseason debut. Take that for what you will. OKC, I think, could make a decent jump and is a lot of people's pick for the team that will.
Right.
And Minnesota's still right there with a lot of really talented players.
Yeah, Utah got better last year, and
Dallas
Dallas was a bit frustrating, I'm sure, for them. I don't know how they'll be, but certainly has talented players. And I think it goes for any season. The Kings had some good fortune on health, but I feel like this year too, legitimately the depth is as good as I can remember. What do you feel about the depth of this roster?
Yeah, it's definitely improved. Getting pretty much Terrence Davis turning into Chris Duarte, Chimezie Metu going to Sasha Vezenkov, and then Rashawn Holmes into JaVale McGee.
Yeah.
I think all of those are notable upgrades. So I think they're better equipped to deal with an injury that's bound to happen throughout the course of this year. And, you could point at, well, their point guard depth isn't great or their center depth isn't great, but it's like any team that loses one of their all-stars is really going to struggle, when it comes down to it. So I think that they are better equipped to deal with any potential injuries that could come up. And Mike Brown is definitely a guy, and he says he learned this from Steve Kerr, that every once in a while, he's just going to put the 12th guy in the game, and see what he can give you. And also just to keep them engaged, it makes their practices all that much more focused in, because they know they could really get on the floor at any minute. So I think we're going to see that throughout the course of this year. I think my biggest depth question would be third string point guard.
Yeah.
Like we saw it be
But it
Keon
was
Ellis in
third
that game.
string.
Again, we're talking about third string point guard. And the only way this really matters is if one of De'Aaron or Davion is not available. So if that's my biggest concern, I think we're doing okay.
Yeah. If you're looking at the like, we're going to the depth of this team. We've talked a lot about the starting five, or we mentioned the starting five, that next five. And if we say Vezenkov or Duarte or 11, whatever order that is, how about behind that, which, there's some young players there, some two-way guys, anybody that you think, I don't know, going into the season, it's tough to see, but that might have an impact on this team.
Colby Jones is kind of interesting to me. A guy they picked at the beginning of the second round, their highest draft pick after they traded away their original first with Rashawn Holmes to clear up some cap space. But I think he does a little bit of everything. They're talking about, again, needing maybe a third string playmaker, or also just a guy that you can plug and play a little bit. And I think he does a little bit of everything. Offensively, showed some good touch, can shoot the ball, and defensively, like, can he adjust pretty early on? He interests me a little bit. And also I think the McGee, being the backup center, I do think, Coach Brown said he typically just wants one guy to be that rather than it be fluid and matchup dependent. But sometimes it will be. Like, I still think Alex Len played really well in that Golden State series. I know he didn't play game 6 and 7 because they went in a different direction, but I still think you're going to see a decent bit of Alex Len.
Yeah. How about Brendan, as we look at, the new pieces, Keegan's year 2 jump, that kind of stuff, the reliables, Fox and Sabonis. I mean, great seasons last year. What do you expect from those two?
I really think they could both get better. I think Sabonis, specifically that mid-range, I think we saw him take it a couple times in that preseason game. It was a push shot, an elbow jumper. And I think he knows he needs to do that. We heard him talk about that after the Golden State series. They really just tried to make him a playmaker. And it's not that he can't score, but I think it's about being comfortable with it. And it's specifically being implemented into the flow of their offense. So I think you'll see that a little bit more. But De'Aaron, man, I think that there could be another level to his game.
Wow.
Like, what we saw of him really leveling up in the fourth quarter of games, obviously inaugural Clutch Player of the Year award, which is awesome that he won that. But often it was like the first half, like, okay, he was pretty quiet. And I get he's just kind of getting a feel. He's getting players involved. Most assists are in the first half, right? But if he could do it more consistently throughout the course of the whole game, like, De'Aaron could take another jump here. And, the 3-point shot's easy to point at. And, if he takes a jump there, then I'm kind of, not giving up on that, but I'm not going to rely on that necessarily. But if he can do the same thing in the first half that we see in the second half, and also ratchet it up a little bit defensively, they talk about him being the head of the snake, and I mentioned full court ball pressure and stuff like that. I think you could see another jump from De'Aaron. He's 25.
I know. And what I love most about him is the moments. Like, if it's a close game, regular season, postseason, he was terrific. Like, he's got a knack for shining when they need it the most.
Yeah, which is exactly what this team needs.
Yeah.
They played so many close games, which is, I think, another reason people are skeptical about this team, not just the injury luck, but they were in so many close games and they won so many because of De'Aaron Fox. I think one thing that stood out to me, again, going back to that GM poll, was there was one question of who do you want to take the last shot? And I was like, well, De'Aaron didn't get a single vote.
Right.
He literally won the Clutch Player of the Year.
Which I think he can win again, by the way, if they're in close games again. I mean, he's the kind of the closer of this team.
He did it a lot.
Yeah.
He did it a lot. And having that sort of guy, you saw it happen in his first postseason series too. Until he broke his finger, he was cooking.
Yeah.
He was doing whatever he wanted out there. So I think that, we could see another level of De'Aaron Fox, but even if you got the same Fox as last year, it's more than enough.
Yeah, for sure. As far as tonight goes, again, I mean, I always say the score doesn't really matter. What do you want to see Kings Lakers tonight?
Transition defense for sure. I think that, like you said, don't take too much from preseason, but it does stand out when it's a similar weakness to what you saw last year, right? And they talked about that a lot yesterday at practice. 24 transition points for the Raptors. They're a team that's really good at that, but so are the Lakers. So I think it's how can you clean that up a little bit, and maybe some of the other guys hopefully looking a little more comfortable. You don't want Chris Duarte to have 2 of those games in a row. I don't really care too much about what happened in game 1. I think it's an adjustment for him for sure. Again, didn't play with Domas, which is where I think he has some pre-built chemistry that you can be optimistic about. So hopefully you see Domas with some of these other guys a little bit, but hopefully you don't get another stinker from Duarte.
Yeah, you're not worried about De'Aaron not making a shot again?
No.
He'll be fine.
Honestly, I didn't even realize that happened.
Yeah, I think it was 0 for
6 at 6. Yeah.
Man.
No, I honestly didn't even realize that happened.
Because we're not worried about it.
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
At all.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's fine. It's like he can go 1 of 5 from 3. Like,
exactly.
So what?
No worries.
No.
Well, we look forward to a lot more of your work here on Sactown Sports, certainly with us on the show as well. Thank you, and enjoy the game tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, me too. That's Brendan Nunes. We will take the break here. When we come back, 4 down territory. That is straight ahead here on Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's Wednesday. We're off to a cooler start to the day. Thanks to the clouds, it'll start to thin out as we head through the afternoon. Plan to see plenty of sunshine. It'll be bright and breezy. Highs in the mid-70s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
You know what time it is. It's time to trade up to a brand new Kia at Folsom Lake Kia. Trade up to the newest technology with a low payment. Shop Folsom Lake Kia, family owned for over 20 years.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
It's time now for the Silver and Black Report, brought to you by ACR Home Services. For all your roofing and solar needs, visit acrhomeservices.com. Al Davis once said, "Just win, baby." Well, the Silver and Black did that with their first W over Green Bay since 1987. Offense did just enough, but the difference was the defense, including the game-deciding interception in the end zone to preserve a much-needed win. Up next, the matchup with New England. That is your Silver and Black Report, brought to you by ACR Solar and Home Services. Let ACR Home Services be your one-stop shop for all your home needs, starting with unbeatable roofing services. Right now, get a new roof and receive $1,000 off that roof. So sign up today and save with no payment for up to 12 months. And ACR is more than just a roofing company. Whether it's roofing, solar, electrical work, you name it, when you choose ACR Home Services, you're not just getting a contractor, you're partnering with a team that's invested in your satisfaction. That's ACR Home Services.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
One of the reasons people buy new cars is because of the warranty. They don't want to have to worry about things breaking and the fear of unexpected repair costs. But did you know Elk Grove Kia has one of the longest warranties around at 20 years or 200,000 miles? No other Kia dealer offers that. You would have to be a real to buy from anyone other than Elk Grove Kia. And if you're worried about financing, don't. Elk Grove Kia believes in second, third, and sometimes fourth chances because Elk Grove Kia's management team has over 100 years of combined automotive experience. We know how to say yes a lot more than the others do. Collections, past due bills, repos, bankruptcies. Your job is your credit. So where others fail to get you into your new ride, we can get you qualified. Let Elk Grove Kia show you why we're out to be the #1 Kia dealer in California. So when you're ready for some peace of mind and a friendly face, come visit us. Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or check us out online at elkgrovekia.com.
Elk Grove Kia.
NorCal Sportsman Show, October 14th and 15th at the grounds in Roseville.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Ladd with your Sactown Sports headlines. The Sacramento Kings' second preseason game is tonight, where they will take on the Los Angeles Lakers in Anaheim. You can listen to the game with the game night at 5:30 and tip-off scheduled for 7 right here on Sactown Sports. The Texas Rangers beat the Baltimore Orioles 7-1 to sweep the 101-game winners. Rangers move on to the ALCS, where they will meet the winners of the Astros and Twin Series. Reminder, all guests come to you via the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Those are your headlines. Now let's get back to the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
They bleed black and purple. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on your local sports leader, Sactown Sports.
Slide the beam, baby. Thanks again to Brendan Nunes joining us.
Are you a pizza guy?
Frankie the other day. He's a pizza guy.
You didn't get to hear Brendan's side of the story.
Oh, I didn't.
He was there for it.
Did he have a different take? I should have asked him.
I think it's the same take.
Agreeing with Frankie or agreeing with you?
Agreeing with me.
Because he didn't get any pizza either, did he?
I think he had a slice.
Okay. I think this is all just generating from the fact that you didn't get any pizza.
No, I was fine with it. I was a little upset because like Chris was just like, dude, I'm starving. I need to have a slice at one point.
And you know what? I think I remember saying something, but they were also working. Like they were literally live on the air. I mean,
yeah, you can't do that.
Like during a break, maybe, but that's a little bit tricky.
And the way things are going out there, it's like, hey, they bring a player over.
Right, you
okay,
have no
we
extra
gotta,
time.
Yeah,
and yeah. So it's a constantly it's a fun show to do, but it's a little bit hectic and out of the norm. But that was back on Media Day last week. Before we get to 4 down territory, we have 4 topics that Chris will read here. I do want some news. I don't know how breaking it is, but news from the NFL. Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson is going to be placed on IR, so it looks like he's going to miss with that right shoulder injury 4 weeks, maybe as many as 8 weeks. Before the show, Chris, you were telling me.
I got an update.
Uh-oh.
From Mr. Nunes.
Oh, yeah. What do we got?
I did get a slice, but I didn't share it outside of 11:40 like the Kings Cowboy did.
Well, okay. I'm going to backtrack on this now. So was it deemed that it was an 11, like a Sactown Sports pizza? Is that like where it felt like it landed by the end?
I felt like Katie brought it over. Katie was hanging out at our table.
Yeah, so we had 2 tables. We had the live show. And
technically, she is not an employee of 1140.
Right, but a friend of the show.
A friend of the show. She put her stuff down at our table.
She was hanging out.
And it's just like, and it wasn't like, hey, you can't put your stuff there. It's like, oh, yeah, absolutely. We'll watch it. No problem.
And then she goes, just take the pizza.
Yeah.
Basically. Because she wasn't going to, she left. She wasn't going to leave with the pizza. So then it became our pizza. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yes.
So to my knowledge, at that point, I know I had a slice. I think Dave did. I don't remember if Dave did.
He says he didn't, but I could have sworn he was eating something.
Well, then I'm assuming he did. But I know there was someone that came over from the B and then took a slice.
I want to say David brought that person over.
Well, they brought him over, but then he said, "Oh, my son's here. He'll want one." I'm like, "Well, okay." So he took one, but it was the biggest box of pizza ever. Like there was this, and there was a decent amount gone when I saw that it was open, and maybe a little less than half was left. So,
but it was a huge pizza.
It was a huge pizza. All right. Well,
he's not getting off that easy.
The news that I said about Anthony Richardson, I was saying with the right shoulder injury, out 4 to 8 weeks. You had said before the show, you're still one of the few that's left in our survivor pool. You're like, ooh, what about the, was it Jags versus the Colts?
Yeah.
With him being out, does that increase your stock in picking Jacksonville or make you more nervous?
So then I did some research.
Gardner Minshew,
and I made a joke. I was like, okay, whatever. He's actually done pretty well with the Colts.
He has.
So I'm going to stay away from that game.
Okay. Yeah, I think there's some other, what seems to be clear choices, but the way this works, it doesn't always work that way.
I chose the Eagles.
Oh, you zigged. You zagged. Let me look at that really fast. Because the highest spreads, to my knowledge, the 2 games that you haven't picked the Chiefs yet?
No.
Okay, and they're 10.5-point favorites. There were 2 really high spreads. The Dolphins 13.5. You haven't picked them?
No.
Over the Panthers. And what was the other one that was a large spread? Was the Bills 11 over the Giants, and you haven't picked them?
No.
So you picked the Eagles on the road against the Jets.
Yes.
Okay.
I feel confident.
Favored by 7. It's a road team.
See, I think the Dolphins, it's either Dolphins or Bills are playing the Patriots at home pretty soon.
Okay.
Talk about a garbage fire.
Well, they're going to end up in 4 down territory, so let's go for it. 4 down territory time. Chris, let's start with first down.
With the Vikings putting stud wide receiver Justin Jefferson on the IR, should Minnesota at 1-4 look to trade Kirk Cousins?
I think you should always explore things. It depends on what you get in return, right? I don't know that their season is completely done, believe it or not, even with Jefferson out. I liked it yesterday when Chris Watkins and Zachariah in here. Zachariah's like, you know what they need to do is check with their stud wide receiver. I mean, I believe in that too. Like if Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson feel like a great tandem and Jefferson wants Cousins to stay around, then I don't think you should do it. I mean, honestly, I think you should listen to your players a little bit. You can't be entirely beholden to them, but you might then lose Justin Jefferson. And that's the last thing you want to do if you're the Vikings organization. So I would say talk it over amongst the decision makers, certainly some of your key captains and players. And then also whatever deal you get presented, you mull it over. But I would probably lean towards not doing that. Let's go to second down.
Miami Dolphins running back Devon Achane, I think is what it is. I know it's confusing. Is reportedly going to miss a couple of weeks. How damaging will that be to the Dolphins?
Well, I would say they've got depth. They got Mostert. They got other guys, but they have so much speed and so many weapons. And Achane had gotten off to just this incredible start. Really had become their scorer. He has what? Let me see. 5 touchdowns. Mostert has 7, but 460 yards rushing, 12-yard average per carry, 115 per game. He's been awesome. So I think the offense will still be great, but that's a wrinkle that they will certainly be missing, especially if he's out for 4 weeks. So to say overall damaging, I don't know that they are going to regress into something that's crazy. Like this week they get the Panthers. That shouldn't bother them there. But Eagles after that, Chiefs a couple weeks later, they got some tough matchups ahead. So missing him will be a factor. But overall, Dolphins look to be one of the better teams in the NFL. All right, third down.
The 49ers and Cowboys are still talking about one another. Is this good for the rivalry, or should they just let it go?
All right, here's some of that audio that we were talking about. We know Micah Parsons said this.
George Kittle had 3 touchdowns on us, and he posted this thing to IG. He said, F Dallas. I just feel like he's making it way more personal than it had to be. Kittle's my guy, but I'm going to say this. Laugh now, cry later. You got something for that. Just trust. If we see them again, just trust. And we're going to put it just like that. I ain't going to put too much on it. You're going to make it personal. We can make it personal.
Okay, well, he's talking. So Debo, of course, fired back.
It was already personal before the game started. Now, 42-10, I don't think you want to see us again. It might be a little bit worse.
Debo.
I don't know what we trust.
Micah, Debo, I don't know what to say. I'm getting uncomfortable.
I don't know what we trust. We trust, laugh now, cry later. I mean, I don't think you want to see us again.
I love it.
Love it.
I love it. I mean, look, it's sports. It's fun. We don't need to get anybody hurt over this, but this is a rivalry, and now it feels like it's renewing itself with different characters, different people, different personalities. And, if you're the Niners and you hear the Cowboys talking, yeah, you've got the current last laugh. But if they do meet again, let's just pretend there's a world where they meet again and Micah Parsons' words come true. I mean, the Cowboys won't stop talking. If they beat the Niners in the playoffs, that'd be brutal. Now, if Debo's right, they don't want to see us again, and the Niners win by more or even just win. That'll be 3 straight years that they've knocked him out of the postseason. So I think this is all great.
Curb stomped.
Exactly. This is great. I think it's enjoyable. Now we can move on from it as the weeks go on, but if it comes back again, yeah, this rivalry is right there. All right, fourth down.
Is Bill Belichick, the GM, hurting Bill Belichick, the head coach?
I think he is. I mean, Bill Belichick has kind of been the de facto GM there for a while, and there was a lot of praise for him over the years of finding gems, finding guys, and looking at the roster going, man, he's kind of overachieved with these players. But at the end, coached them up. They had a really good rosters, and we found several Hall of Famers off that team. Now you kind of look at the roster each and every week, and you wonder, man, where are their great players? And it just seems fewer and far between for that team that could always rely on its defense that was really controlled by him. And the offense would kind of get by. Now the offense is not getting by, and the defense isn't dominant like it once was. So they're in a world of hurt. It doesn't mean that he can't coach. I don't doubt that. The guy knows what he's doing and is really good at it. But maybe the GM part, if it's he's got to put the ingredients together for a team he wants to coach. And so I think he's been more off the mark there. So to answer that question, yeah, Bill Belichick, the GM, is in fact hurting Bill Belichick, the head coach. All right, when we come back, we got those 2 questions that you want to know. Who's hot and who's not? Also, yesterday we talked about the NBA Top 100. ESPN's list made it from 100 to 51. Today, they unveiled 50 to number 11. Are there any kings in that list? You know there are. We'll tell you who, where, what numbers they are, all that coming up on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship appearance from last season? How will the quarterbacks perform throughout the year?
Purdy back, now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk is on fire!
Will the defense lead this squad again?
Intercepted! Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner!
Get all your 49er coverage throughout the NFL season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
I love being a bartender. I love waiting tables. But at the end of my shift, my feet were killing me. And so I had to pretend like I was having a good time. And really, I couldn't wait to sit down. But it wasn't just my feet. It was also my knees were achy. A lot of neck pain, too. I was in so much pain. I kind of lost hope, really. And then I saw the Good Feet store, and that's when everything changed.
For over 20 years, we've helped people like Kristen enjoy their work again without their feet getting in the way.
It was pretty shocking to realize that I'd been in so much pain and suddenly I'm completely pain-free. Now that I have the Good Feet arch supports, I don't have to pretend to be happy. I'm genuinely happy. So cheers. My name is Kristen, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
As a business owner, outfitting your van fleet with Mercedes Sprinter vans is just smart business. Mercedes Sprinters qualify for a remarkably generous IRS Section 179 tax deduction. This means you literally save thousands in tax savings. Family-owned Mercedes-Benz of Stockton has a dedicated Mercedes van department with trained commercial vehicle experts ready to help you take on any job. See our selection of capable Mercedes vans at mbofstockton.com.
Hey, what's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet, Dodge Chrysler, Jeep Ram, and Woodland. What's happening with Ram Power Days?
We love American muscle, and right now is the last call on new 2023 Dodge Charger and Challenger SXTs before they're gone, with lease payments as low as $399.
What about all those Ram trucks I see?
Save thousands with 0% financing for 72 months and $6,000 off MSRP on all new 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn and Laramie Crew Cabs. And we all know 0% financing is almost impossible to find in 2023.
These deals can't last long. So hurry into Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram or see our whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet. Period.
Take 0% financing for 72 months plus $6,000 dealer discount. Offer on approved credit through Chrysler Capital. Must have 700 plus FICO score to qualify. 0% for 72 months equals $13.89 per thousand borrowed. Lease new 2023 Dodge Charger or Challenger SXT for $399 a month for 42 months with $49.95 due signing plus tax, license fees, and any accessories. Offer subject to credit approval through U.S. Bank with 10,000 allowable miles per year. 25 cents per mile excess mileage charge. 5 each net savings. See dealer for details.
What's hot and what's not. Brought to you by American Energy Heat and Air, making the uncomfortable comfortable. Head to AmericanEnergyAir.com to find out more.
What's hot?
Yeah, hot. Real hot.
And what's not?
It's not good.
Brought to you by American Energy Heating and Air, Sacramento's complete heating and cooling company and second opinion partner.
All right, coming up, we're going to visit with our Sactown Sports 49ers insider at 9 o'clock, Emil Frosao. We'll have him via StreamYard on video there on YouTube. You can check that out. We'll have him for a couple of segments still to go. Let's Go Streaking, What to Watch, Celebrity Birthdays, Crosstalk with Zachariah and Watkins, all that coming up. But we've got to find out, Christopher Laud, who is hot?
Corey Seager.
Corey Seager, former Dodger, current Ranger. Why is he hot?
He's reached base safely 3+ times in 5 consecutive games. That ties the longest streak in a single postseason in Major League Baseball.
He's a part of that hotness that is the Texas Rangers.
Would you like to know what other players
who he's tied with? I would like to know.
David Ortiz in 2013. Barry Bonds.
Dominican Lush.
Barry Bonds in 2002.
Okay.
And Edgar Martinez in 1995.
That one feels like an outlier. Edgar Martinez is great, but I wouldn't have never guessed him.
It's like, oh, they made the playoffs then?
Exactly. Poppy was, David Ortiz was a really good baseball player, but he was kind of better in October, wasn't he?
In that 2013, after the bombing and everything like that.
Man.
He hit that grand slam.
Yeah, he had some awesome moments. So that's who's hot. I want to know who's not.
That would be the AL East.
Aha! So the Yankees, you're telling me, have won as many games as the rest of the teams in the AL East in the postseason.
Correct.
Okay, what do you got?
The last time the AL East was swept in a postseason was 1990.
1990 swept. I might know this. Let's see. 90. Let me go here. Hang on. It wasn't the Yankees. It might be.
You're celebrating your 25th anniversary at the station.
Toronto.
Nope.
Or Boston on the A's.
Yep.
Boston.
The A's swept the Red Sox. The 07 mark by the AL East this postseason is the worst by any division in a single postseason in the LCS era since 1969.
Woof. You had 0-2 for the Jays, 0-2 for the Rays, and then 0-3 for the Orioles. And Boston and New York not in the postseason, laughing. I don't know if they're laughing. I don't know that they would do that.
Baseball's still going on?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so there's who's hot, who's not. Yesterday at this time, we told you about the NBA list. According to ESPN, their top 100 players for this year, they had 100 through 51. And Harrison Barnes was on that list as the only King at that time at 96, 94, somewhere in there yesterday. So today they unveiled 50 through 11, so they're going to leave the top 10 as some suspense. We'll work our way up this list to find out if there are any Kings here. Jarrett Allen at 50. We'll just kind of move along. Victor Wembanyama, who's yet to play an NBA game, already ranked 47th. Julius Randle has been a multiple All-Star at 45. James Harden, how the mighty have fallen. Last year at this time was number 11. He's 43. Klay Thompson at 41. DeMar DeRozan, I think, is a really good player, is at 39. Zach LaVine at 38. Bradley Beal at 37. Last year he was 19. Ja Morant has fallen from number 9 to 35. Interesting. Kyrie Irving, 34. Jalen Brunson all the way up to 32. Paolo Banchero is already number 30. Trae Young, 29. Still no Kings at this point. Drew Holiday at 26. Kawhi Leonard, 24. And here we go. Number 23, according to ESPN's top 100 NBA players for this year, ranked 54 last year, 23 this year, De'Aaron Fox. Why he rose 31 spots. Fox, huge year, helped him propel him in our rankings. It also didn't hurt that Sabonis, Herter, Barnes, Keegan Murray, and Malik Monk, the Kings were the most complete team Fox has played with during his tenure in Sacramento. It led to the Kings snapping a 16-season playoff drought. One huge question for this season: how can he follow up his breakout year? Fox was a first-time All-Star and named to the All-NBA third team. He won the inaugural Clutch Player of the Year award. His coach, Mike Brown, was named Coach of the Year. Fox's general manager, Monty McNair, was Executive of the Year. Sacramento was looking to take another step forward. To do that, Fox has to take another leap as well. So, De'Aaron Fox listed at 23. I'm thinking, where's Sabonis? He's 22. Why he rose? He was 47 a year ago. In his first full season in Sacramento, Sabonis became the Kings' engine, making everything click on the team on both ends on his way to his first All-NBA third-team selection and becoming one of the premier bigs in the league. The next category is swing skill. While the Kings ranked 20th in league in rebounding, Sabonis led all players in that category, 12.3 per game and 973 total rebounds. And with the incredibly strong presence on the glass, Sabonis also converted 75% of his attempts at the rim on more than 500 attempts. With the addition of JaVale McGee and the return of Alex Len, Sacramento's good depth at the center spot and should have a dominant presence on the glass, but no one is better than that on the Kings than Sabonis. The irony is, Sabonis, as Fox is 23, Sabonis is 22, 21, Tyrese Halliburton.
Okay, see, they were planning on doing that.
He was ranked 59 a year ago. Number 20, Karl Anthony Towns. Number 19, Jaylen Brown. Number 18, Paul George. 17, Jamal Murray took a big jump from 50 to 17. Bam Adebayo jumped from 23 to 16. Donovan Mitchell jumped from 24 to 15. Dame Lillard was 14 last year. He's 14 again this year. Anthony Edwards at 13. Jimmy Butler at 12. And Devin Booker listed at 11. So the top 10 will be unveiled tomorrow. I don't have much of an issue with this list. I mean, again, this is personal preference, personal beliefs. I mean, let's just take a couple numbers. I'll go Booker at 11 versus Jimmy Butler. I mean, it's personal preference. Both are really good. I'm a big fan of Anthony Edwards. I'm less of a fan of Karl Anthony Towns. I probably would have him lower, but again, a few spots. I mean, we're nitpicking here. A little surprised that Tyrese is 21. I think the world of Tyrese Halliburton. I don't think I'd have him as the 21st rated player, but again, I'm not putting him at 80, just probably a little bit lower. I think Kawhi Leonard is incredible. I get why they have him at 24. I think Ja Morant dropped too far. Again, these are preferences. These are tough things to decide. I think Zion was way low that I thought, because when he's right, I think he flirts with that top 10 list all the time. So just taking a quick look at names I don't see. Obviously, Jokic, Giannis, Curry, LeBron, Durant, Anthony Davis. Did I say Curry? Yeah, those are some of the names that are going to end up in the top 10.
Well, we didn't hear Keegan Murray yesterday.
Or today.
So got to be top 10.
Solid 8, probably. So the Kings
gives him room to improve.
Herter, I'm sure he's in there. Monk. There's no doubt those guys are.
I thought Herter was yesterday.
He was on the other, like a CBS list. Barnes was in this top 100. So interesting. I know you would have Booker. I know he's your favorite player, one of your favorites. But they have him at 11. Last year he's ranked 10.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, you're splitting hairs here a little bit. I think it is interesting that kind of some legacy players like Kyrie and James Harden are a lot lower than they traditionally have been. Even Kawhi to a certain extent. But the hard part is the guys like that we just haven't seen yet. I mean, Banchero's only had one season. He went from 82 to 30. And a guy like Wembanyama, who hasn't played already at all, where do they have him listed? 47, I think it was. So already coming in that high is pretty tough when, LaMelo Ball's right behind him. DeAndre Ayton, I don't know if I'd have him at 49. Jarrett Allen at 50. So anyway, there's your look at your top or 50 through 11 in the NBA. But these things are debatable. And I think that's also why the Kings have improved. I mean, certainly individual play in Fox and Sabonis to have two top 25 players. They're one of the few teams that can say that. There's a few other teams that can, but certainly that's impressive. We've got Cat over Fox and Sabonis is laughable. I'm with you on that. I'm just not the biggest fan of Karl Anthony Towns, though. Again, to say that doesn't mean I don't think he's a good player. He's a good player, but I just don't think as highly of him. I think he had made the All-Star team on a couple of bad-ish T-Wolves teams, putting up good stats, but want a little more substance from him overall. And I think they took a road, certainly the Timberwolves, by adding Gobert. They've gone big. They kept Naz Reid. There's some things that are going to be fun to watch in the Western Conference this year. That's what I was talking about earlier when Brendan was in about how good the West appears to be, but just how some of the subtle differences. What will it work? Will it be better? How will Memphis play with Marcus Smart while Ja Morant is out? Minnesota going year 2 with being one of the bigger front courts in the league. The Warriors early on playing without Draymond Green will be a factor. And just, an older team kind of in general, what kind of injuries. Denver now as a team with a target on your back being the defending champs. The Kings with a target on their back. How do they handle being a successful team? The Lakers have transformed their team a bit since last year's deadline. And they're a completely different roster. I think a better roster. And then Dallas kind of trying it again with Kyrie and Luka and seeing if, the other pieces around them can make a difference. So there's lots of things that are intriguing to me about the start of the upcoming NBA season. All right, want to give you an update of what's going on in the next hour. We are going to visit with Emil Frosao. He is going to join us. We'll get the perspective on the 49ers and really last week's game how dominant it was, but also his take on the talking that's going on between the Cowboys and the 49ers still. That's coming up. We got a couple of segments with him, and then still another playoff edition of Let's Go Streaking, and we'll wrap up the show in the next hour with Crosstalk with Zachariah Watkins and celebrity birthdays. All right, so our third hour is complete. When we come back, we will visit with our 49ers insider, Emil Frosao. That is coming up right here on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Is an entertainment experience like no other. We're the only place where you can play blackjack, then hop on an indoor card track. We're the only place with more than 2,000 of the hottest slots and a state-of-the-art 18-lane bowling center. And now with a world-class sports bar and a resort hotel to stay after you play. Is it any wonder we've been voted best over 100 times? We're Red Hawk Resort Casino, official casino partner of the Sacramento Kings.
Hi. I'm Barbara, and I work for social services. On our lobby wall, there's a picture of this kid I used to work with. She's all of 17 years old, and she's on one of those missing posters. Unfortunately, that happens to a lot of our kids who don't have somebody to step up for them. They stay in foster care for years, they aren't adopted, and they age out. They either wind up in jail, or they live on the streets.
The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption works every day to find safe, permanent homes for children at risk of aging out of foster care before it's too late.
I adopted 2 teenagers from foster care. Their outlook on life changed. If I can do a little bit to help, it's worth it.
You can help too. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
We need each other. Because every someone needs someone else.
We need each other because when we work together, we can do so much more.
We connect more children with what they need to grow up healthy, educated, and safe. And that's what Child Fund is all about.
Because when you make someone's world better, you make everyone's world better.
Child Fund. Because we need each other.
Learn more at childfund.org. That's childfund.org.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com. KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlod with your Sactown Sports headlines. The Sacramento Kings' second preseason game is tonight when they take on the Los Angeles Lakers in Anaheim. You can listen to the game with game night at 5:30 and tip-off scheduled for 7 right here on Sactown Sports. The Texas Rangers beat the Baltimore Orioles 7-1 to sweep the 101-game winners. The Rangers move to the ALCS where they will meet up with the winners of the Astros and Twins series. Reminder, all guests come to you via the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Those are your headlines. Now let's get back to the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sactown Sports.
All right, time to start the final hour of this Wednesday show. There he is, Emil Frosao. What's up, Emil?
What's up, Jason?
I'm doing well. Are you doing well?
Yeah, I'm doing great. How about yourself, man? How's the show going?
Everything's going great. We're really enjoying this, talking the last couple days about the San Francisco 49ers. And that's why we have Emil Frosao on each and every Wednesday at this time, 9 o'clock, at Niners at 9. I know you're there to cover the team, to write what you see, to talk about what you see. But you also like sports, grew up watching sports. How enjoyable was just the clinic that you watched the 49ers put on the Cowboys on Sunday night?
Man, Jason, it was a sight to behold, honestly. Like, I'm not a big fan of the Dallas Cowboys, regardless of what team I root for. And to see the Dallas Cowboys lose on national TV is, for most of America, I feel like, besides the Cowboys fans, it's probably a sight to see. And so for the Niners to just take care of business at home and just look unstoppable in every three phases, offense, defense, special teams, it was a joy and kind of a culmination of all the hard work they put in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, and we talked last week, we talk every week, and I think logically made the conclusion, like, look, this is another opportunity to see. We think the Niners are good. Mm-hmm. They've shown they're good, but Dallas is pretty good. Dallas has this good defense, at least the reputation of a good defense coming in. I didn't know that it would be low scoring, but I thought it would be tougher for the 49ers to score. I do say I was a little surprised that the first drive, the ease they moved the ball, Purdy's effectiveness, scoring 42, that took me back a little bit. I was surprised by that. How about you?
Yeah, it was a little surprising for me, especially considering that every single first drive, opening drive of the season in all 5 games, they have scored a touchdown, I believe in. I mean, that's a stat that wasn't there with Jimmy Garoppolo under center. And I think that the efficiency of this offense and how well they're running is kind of why this team is so hard to beat, right? They've always had that defensive prowess. They've always had that strong defense, but it's always been on the offense. Can the offense keep up with the defense? Can the defense not have to be relied on so heavily? And now with Brock Purdy coming into, I guess, full blossom, as I guess you can say, this guy is just unbelievable in what he's doing. And like George Kittle said, and like Deebo Samuel said, he's kind of the leader of their team right now. This young 23-year-old kid is the leader of their team, and they're riding him all the way to the playoffs.
Yeah, I love yesterday we had Sean Salisbury, former quarterback, and he's been on the show for years, but he basically said this, Emil, something along the lines that if America is waiting for Brock Purdy to falter or fail or not live up to whatever kind of hype he's getting now, it's just wasted energy, because just his effectiveness, his efficiency, his quick decision-making, I mean, again, he's checking all the boxes each and every week, and I don't know if anybody's still a doubter why at this point.
Yeah, I'm tired of having to defend Brock Purdy to people. I really am. I did it yesterday on Return to the Empire as well with Nate Littlefield. I don't care what you want to call him. Bot Purdy, Glock Purdy, Brock Star, all the nicknames. The guy can ball. Can we stop with the system quarterback talk? Because this guy is much better than a system quarterback. This guy can for real play, possibly playing like a top 10 quarterback in the NFL right now. And if he keeps this up, can definitely be in that competition past this season.
Yeah, I mean, the throws he's making, the timing of it, the decisions. And again, why this team is so good was another case in point this last week where, 4 targets for Kittle, 3 of them are touchdowns. I think Kyle had a really good game. Just obviously they executed the plays he called, but I think it was just one of those games where everything felt like they were on point, including the play calling.
Yeah, Kyle kind of takes it personally when he plays his former coordinators. Obviously, Dan Quinn there with the Dallas Cowboys and playing the Dallas Stars. Of course, you gotta really come out there and show. And so Kyle has had the upper hand the last 2 games, and it's been a lot closer of contest. But this is one of those games where they kind of felt like they're playing with house money. Dallas really needed this win. They made it a point all week. It's like, we're going to get them. We're going to get them. This is the time we're going to finally get the 49ers. And the Niners on the other side were saying, just another week, just another game for us. And that's how he took care of business. It was nothing personal at times. It was all business. Obviously, after the game, there were some personal feelings shed, but that's kind of where we're at right now with the Niners, is that everything is business. Everything is going to plan, and they're just going to keep marching on to the playoffs, hopefully.
Emil, I want to get your reaction to this. I'm sure you did on your podcast, and you know what's going on. Here's Micah Parsons still talking at this point. But here is some of the things he had to say after the game.
George Kittle had 3 touchdowns on us, and he posted this thing to IG. He said, F Dallas. I just feel like he's making it way more personal than it had to be. Kittle's my guy, but I'm going to say this. Laugh now, cry later. We got something for that. Just trust. If we see them again, just trust. And we're going to put it just like that. I ain't going to put too much on it. You're going to make it personal. We can make it personal.
All right, so what do you make of – I mean, obviously he was on a podcast. He's asked. He's going to say some things. Mm-hmm. I'm never going to tell an athlete or a team not to have confidence. They should, but I don't know if it's the best look for them to be talking like that.
I'm going to use 2 quotes from Niners players. One from Mooney Travarius Ward, laugh now, laugh later. Mm-hmm. And then the other one from Deebo Samuel. You know, 42-10. I don't think you want to see us again. I don't – like, they got to stop this. Like, you lost. You got handled on primetime on Sunday Night Football. Take the loss, move on, admit they were the better team, and come back. The whole point of – I think he made it personal. It was already personal. The Dallas Niner rivalry has been a personal rivalry for many, many people for many, many years. Don't act like this is a new thing, Micah. This is a real thing right now. So him acting kind of naive in that of like, you want to make it personal, we can make it personal. No, it's been personal. The Niners will handle their business like it's business, but the feelings of an animosity is definitely still there between the 2 franchises.
Yeah, and especially because, and we talked about this last week, look, it is one game. It may not have bigger ramifications than that, but I think we all agreed that the Cowboys, I'm sure, circled this game. The Niners eliminated them the last 2 years. It felt like it meant a lot more to the Cowboys, and it didn't show it in the way they played.
No, it just didn't. And they had, I will say for their part, in the first half, kept it close. I believe it was 21-10. And then the offense kind of just fell apart. And that's kind of what happened there. Is that once the offense fell apart and Dak Prescott was throwing those picks, it was kind of curtain call for everyone. And so I do think that Dallas can play better. And potentially if they meet again in the playoffs like they did last year, I think Dallas would play better. They play more up to their standard. Obviously, they're still a good football team. They're just not on the level, in my opinion, of the 49ers because no one else is on the level of the 49ers, and even the Eagles. I mean, that's not like discrediting people. The Niners are just really, really good at football. They play team football. Not a lot of franchises can say that.
As we're being joined by our 49ers insider, Emil Frosao, here on Sactown Sports. Of course, he is brought to you by Timber Creek Golf Course. Visit timbercreekgolfcourse.com to book your tee time today. Emil, as one other note that happened going into the game, wasn't a factor last week, but will be or can be going forward. How about Randy Gregory, the thought process bringing him in? What could that do potentially, or what kind of role do you think he'll have?
Yeah, I've been describing Randy Gregory as kind of a high-caliber role player. You think back to all the midseason trades they've got, Jordan Willis in the years past, Charles Omenihu a year later. This team is built on having depth at strong positions, and that's kind of what this is with Randy Gregory. To get a guy of his caliber, who I think is better than Omenihu and better than Willis in terms of overall potential and talent, this guy can be the opposite to Nick Bosa in terms of the speed factor on the edge. And that's something that the Niners are missing, a guy who can just get off and get really, really fast in the backfield there. They have a lot of talent for sure, but Randy Gregory, even though he's turning 31 shortly, I think he's super, super talented. And as long as he can stay healthy under Chris Kasarik, he's going to be a real problem for any other offensive line. I mean, it's just a plethora of riches, and to get him for basically free is just the Niners and John Lynch keep doing just incredible transactions.
Was that the best defensive game they've had this year?
Yeah, probably. It probably was. I mean, if you talk to all the guys afterwards, Fred Warner walked up to the podium and Fred Warner was just like, not half bad, huh? And he was just like kind of grinning. Like you could kind of tell that this was their kind of big moment. And Steve Wilkes even told them the night before, he said, you guys don't know how good you can be. And that's kind of what motivated them to play as well as they did. And they really are kind of feeling that now of like, we can really be a historic defense in the NFL.
Yeah, because I was kind of still waiting for that. Again, I wouldn't say the defense has been bad. That's too harsh of a statement, but I don't feel they had been dominant. And they were closer to that in that game. I mean, the pressures they put on Prescott, the make him hurry, the throws. Fred Warner, you brought him up. I mean, he was ridiculous in the game, the amount of plays he made. So I still think that game is out there, or maybe games for this defense where they can be dominant, like you said.
Yeah, and it could be this week against Cleveland, obviously, with their quarterback issues. And I think with Fred Warner, I call him Predator, like Alien versus Predator. And then I call Dre Greenlaw the Doctor. So the Doctor and the Predator, those two are just up and down the field. I mean, the end-to-end speed of two linebackers, like it is very much Navarro Bowman and Patrick Willis-esque. It, like, seriously, to go from those guys to now Fred and Dre, it's incredible just how much turnover and how much success they can keep having at that position.
As far as stuff, I talked about this with Matt Barros on Monday, and in kind of all of our line of work, or maybe it's our human nature that, hey, if this part is not working, it's easier to kind of dig down deep, ask a coach, ask a player, why is this not working? And why is this coming up short? Why are you failing here? This has got to be a little bit of a challenge. It's fun to write when things are going well, but basically everything is going well. Is it difficult to, I don't want to say find things to pick apart, but maybe even to find more things to write about, or is everything just all positive right now?
Everything's really just all positive, and everything's getting clicks and likes, and that's kind of what we're looking for, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
true.
the point. Look, I much prefer to cover a winning football team than a losing football team. It's more fun. The quotes are better. Just people are more excited, and it's fun to be a part of, a winning culture. And this team is a lot of fun because they're not built on ego. They're not built on individual talent. They're built on team success, right? Same thing with the wide receivers. If you don't block and play your part in the offensive run game, you don't get a spot on the team. And that's kind of why this team is so fun, because they play football the old-fashioned way. They play it as a team sport, and not a lot of teams play that way. And that's really interesting to see.
It's amazing from the outside. You're obviously much closer to it, seeing them, being around them. It does seem like that's a universal vibe that this team has. There's even shots where, you've seen it. There's been games where, okay, maybe Debo doesn't have a catch, and he'll be in the background of like a touchdown, and it's Ayuk, and you see Debo jumping up and down, or this is Kittle's game, and there's Ayuk, fist pumping, and it's like, man, it does seem authentic that also it helps that they're winning, but that they are all kind of all in on this team success.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, there was a behind-the-scenes video the Niners released of Debo Samuel hyping up Brock Purdy all game. Debo was mic'd up, and Debo was Brock's biggest hype man because these guys really believe in Brock Purdy and believe in what he's doing. And the rest of the team, again, they've gone through so much trial and error over the years, right? Just going back to 2019, the Super Bowl, to now. There's been so many things that have gone wrong for this Niners team that they've been out of their control with injuries and whatnot. So for this season, it's really been Super Bowl or bust the whole year. And despite all the offseason drama with the quarterbacks, which was August, if we can believe it. I mean, that wasn't that long ago we're having these talks about who was the starting quarterback on the team. To come to now, I mean, it's just a huge sigh of relief for this franchise, and that everything is going well. This is a dream start for them in 2023.
Yeah, it's a world of difference from 2022, where they're at this point, I know at one point they were 3-4, then they won every game.
Yep.
And obviously peaked at the end. I think that's what every team wants to do. I don't know if I would say it's fair to ask Emil if there's any concern that they're peaking too early, because I still think they have more to give and get. But, how are they handling being 5-0, and are they even worried about, potential of staying undefeated?
That's always the toughest part, is that can you back it up? Can you, once we get to December, January, can you still be at this spot? And only injuries, knock on wood, are going to be what knocks this team out. Obviously they have Aaron Banks now dealing with a shoulder strain. They're starting left guard. He's going to be okay, it looks like, but that's a major injury they avoided there too. So they can keep avoiding these major injuries and keep most of their starters on the field at all times. They're going to be just fine. But yeah, it's about keeping consistency and keeping it into the playoffs. And they always talk about, it's not about them, it's about us. And that mentality right there is what's going to probably propel them into keep winning these games.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here. We got more with Emil Frosao coming up, our 49ers insider. Emil touched on the next week game being Cleveland, their quarterback situation. There's some news about Deshaun Watson we'll discuss. We'll talk about that matchup as we continue here on Sactown Sports.
What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m. on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Individual rates, coverage, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. If you're a small business owner, listen up. Pi Insurance wants to give you one of those aha moments, the kind that could save you money. Workers' comp is probably one of the biggest costs you face. But did you know that insurance providers have flexibility in setting their prices? That's right. But many don't bother giving small businesses the savings you deserve. Instead, you can get lumped in with other businesses and overcharged. Pi Insurance was created to change that. With Pi, you get a quote tailored specifically to your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle and no hidden fees. Plus, when you sign sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. Take 3 minutes to see how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or go to trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
on Sactown Sports.
3rd down and 1. Houston goes in motion. They're going to give it. No, it's a play action. Purdy going to roll left, throw for the end zone. Caught by George Kittle. He has the hat trick tonight, a career high. 3 touchdown catches for George. Touchdown! San Francisco!
As we're visiting with our Niners insider, Emil Frosao. Yeah, it's more fun when this team is good. Greg Papa, Tim Ryan, they're having a blast. And if you guys watched that game on Sunday, if you were there, if you listened to it, a clinic, absolute clinic by the 49ers. Emil, they're 5-0. Eagles are there with them. Eagles, hey, look, they're undefeated too, but I think it's been a different path, a different journey. They should be happy about that. They've had more close calls. The Niners have been the most dominant team through 5 weeks. I have them in my power rankings number 1. That's not reinventing the wheel here, but I really hope that they both can stay perfect when they meet each other, because I know that game means a lot to the Niners later. That'd be awesome if we get to that point.
Yeah, it'd be absolutely awesome. And I do have the Niners as well, number 1, and the number 1 linebacker in the league, Fred Warner, as well, just got his flowers. Just, I believe, reserved Defensive Player of the Week, I believe, for the week. We just got that email out just now.
Nice.
Fred Warner, Defensive Player of the Week, I believe, for the NFC. But yeah, no, in terms of the Niners-Philly matchup, them staying undefeated and going into that matchup in Philadelphia would be the cream of the crop. What everyone is hoping for. They would love that to happen. Now, do I think it does happen? No, I think eventually one of these teams is going to lose a game. I don't know who it's going to be. It could be a surprise. It could be Cleveland. It could be Minnesota. It could be Jacksonville. But I think it's possible that one of these teams does lose a game.
Well, let's start with the next chance of that for at least the Niners. That's the Browns this week. I think when we looked at it, it felt like the makings of a trap game. Cleveland's coming off a bye. Yeah. Niners coming off an emotional game. But I think, with the 49ers, their focus is pretty good. But what's your thought on this matchup? And I guess we got to start with the quarterback question, whether or not Deshaun Watson's even going to play.
Yeah, if you're reading the reports out of Ohio right now, they're not great. Deshaun Watson, according to Jake Trotter, of Cleveland, one of the Cleveland beat writers out there, he said that Deshaun Watson was not scheduled to meet with the media today on his usual Wednesday media day. And then according to, I believe it was Tom Withers of the AP, he said that Deshaun Watson made a brief appearance in the locker room, grabbed a couple things, and left. So in terms of Deshaun Watson's availability and where he stands going into Sunday, I would say not great right now. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, not great. And I know they've played Dorian Thompson-Robinson before. I think they were even talking about was it Walker this week?
PJ Walker would be the starter if Deshaun cannot go.
Okay, so even to that, even the 4 games they've played with the bye week, I think they're third to last in passing in the NFL. Now, what they do well has been run. They're 5th in the NFL in run games. So that's an area that I wouldn't say it will test the Niners, but I think the Niners, again, defensively have checked those boxes. So the Niners' run defense against the Browns' rush offense may be one of the keys to watch.
Yeah, it will be for sure. Jerome Ford has stepped in very well for Nick Chubb, obviously out for the year in that running back spot. And they have a really good offensive line. And if they're all healthy, they have a really good run blocking scheme under Kevin Stefanski. But I do think the Niners have the edge still there because of their run defense. I mean, they're top, I believe, 3 in the NFL at run defense right now in yards allowed. I mean, it's hard to run on this Niners team right now, and it has been for 2 years. I mean, when you got the guys like Warner and Greenlaw and then the whole defensive line, suffocating the trenches, it's hard to get any momentum. And so I expect the same thing to happen. Again, it's going to be more of a muddy game on Sunday. I know it's been raining in Cleveland for most of the week. So it is possible that it becomes a power run game where it's a low score like that. But I do think the Niners do still take care of business.
Yeah, this is also on the other end. One of the things we wanted to see was the Niners offense against the Cowboys defense. I think when you kind of did a deeper dive in that, I mean, the Cowboys played who they played, but their strength of competition wasn't that great, and they dominated in those games. Yeah. Conversely, the Browns have been good. They were second fewest points allowed in the league, but I think their schedule's been a little bit more challenging than it was for the Cowboys. So I want to see how the Niners do move the ball and score on this Browns team.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, before that Ravens game, they were kind of on a historic pace there to really kind of set the tone with the Niners in terms of just overall stuff. And I think they are fully healthy. Denzel Ward is a stud star cornerback there. They got that guy Greg Newsome as well, very, very talented slot corner. So very similar in terms of personnel and talent on the defensive side of the football. It's just, can the offense of the Cleveland Browns keep up? Kind of like the Niners in years past, right? The Cleveland Browns are right now. Can the offense keep up with the defense? And where the Niners, their edge is obviously on their offensive side of the football now because of how good they are offensively and how many points they can get out of their star players.
Again, Emil Frosao, that's the voice you hear joining us, and he's brought to you by our friends out at Timber Creek Golf Course. Visit timbercreekgolfcourse.com to book your tee time today. Emil, I have been going by this mantra. I know Greg Papa's mentioned it too, that if the Niners keep getting 30 points or more, who's beating them? Like Cleveland, that's not an area. They need this to be low scoring. They're not going to live in that neighborhood. So, I mean, if the Niners can, whether it's special teams, defense, or certainly their offense, produce 30, I think there's a lot of wins ahead of the rest of the year for them.
Yeah, it's the offense, right? Like this has been the missing piece for Kyle for many, many years is, can this offense be potent? And this offense is now fully potent, especially with McCaffrey unlocking everything. And as long as Christian can stay healthy, because without Christian, they're not the same team. They're just not. And that's not an indictment on the rest of the players. That's just how talented Christian McCaffrey is. Same if Nick Bosa was not on the defense, right? So if this offense can just stay healthy, every game they can score 30 points, no problem. I think I just don't see a challenge for them the rest of the way besides Philadelphia because they're too good. They're just too talented.
Yeah, and they're not playing, I guess, scared of that idea because I think they know that. You're right. If McCaffrey got hurt, I think it does change things dramatically, and he's been a guy that's been hurt in his career, but they're not shying away. They're not limiting touches. I mean, he's getting plenty of carries. He's running between the tackles. He's getting hit. He's applying hits. We saw Jordan Mason run effectively last week too, but they're not shying away from that reality that's out there, which I guess I commend McCaffrey and the Niners for that.
Yeah, I know. He's been a kind of a workhorse in terms of carries, and it was cool to see Kyle pull him back for a second there at the end of the game and give JP some love because Jordan Mason's a very, very talented running back. I compare him to LeGarrette Blount a lot in terms of the closing ability he has and that strength he has as a physical downhill runner. But McCaffrey, as long as he can stay healthy, right? We're talking about this all the time. As long as he can stay healthy, as long as he can continue to have 20 touches a game at least, is kind of what they're looking for. The Niners team is going to keep turning out stuff because every time McCaffrey touches the ball, magic happens. And that's kind of what his offense is built on is get the ball to your playmakers and get the hell out of the way.
Yeah, it's working. It's working really well for them. So Niner fans out there, there's lots of stuff you've got content-wise on Sactown Sports. I know you talked about another thing the Niners avoided that was a little bit nervous from the Cowboy game was Aaron Banks. We thought that injury could have been significant. Sounds like it's less there. But what else are you working on the site and other things that people can read from you?
Yeah, just obviously Wednesday practice stuff. Nothing too crazy. We got to figure out who is on the injury report this week. Will Javarius Ward go back on the injury report, be limited with that heel thing he's been having all season? Will Dre Greenlaw still have that ankle sprain? You never know. Obviously, Aaron Banks, I don't expect him to practice Wednesday. He could be back tomorrow, though, because he has that shoulder strain. They're going to be cautious with him because if it was a lower upper arm, forearm injury, it could have been a torn bicep, and that means you're out for the season. So as long as they manage their injuries and their ailments, because they have a couple, not too many right now, they have a couple, they'll be just fine. But yeah, regular stuff like that. And then George Kittle talking about Brock Purdy yesterday and the disrespect of comparing him to Mac Jones, because that's just flat out disrespectful. You got to stop this.
All right, I'll leave you on this one, Emil. More likely to happen.
Yes.
Defensive Player of the Year award goes to Fred Warner or MVP to Brock or McCaffrey. What's most likely to happen of those three choices?
That's a good question, Jason. Give me Brock Purdy for MVP.
Oh, wow. That was the one I thought was third of three. Good for you. Why do you say that?
I think it's almost impossible for a running back to win MVP because of the quarterback stuff. And same thing with linebacker. The last linebacker to win defensive MVP was Luke Kuechly in 2013. I'm not saying Fred Warner isn't on that stature. It's just impossible because of all the stats and the edge rushing stuff that goes into it. Fred's not going to win it based off stats. Fred's going to win it off overall play and how his team is playing. And that's why Brock Purdy, because of his statistics and because of how well the team's playing, he's the leader. It's easier for a quarterback to win these awards.
It's pretty nice to have multiple candidates in those lists. That's for sure.
Pretty nice. That's for sure.
Yeah. Emil, thank you. Great work. We'll talk to you again next Wednesday, and enjoy the game this weekend.
Appreciate it, Jason. Have a good one.
All right, thank you. That's Emil Frosao joining us, our 49ers insider. Make sure you check out his work, all the work we're doing on SactownSports.com. There's tons of content there. Follow him on Twitter. It does the Instagram reports live right after the game. There's just tons of content that we always have for you that we need you to be a part of. Certainly, Niner fans, you can't and don't want to miss that. All right, when we come back, after an update, we've got what to watch. It's a busy sports day. Of course, Kings basketball tonight. You're going to need to check that out here on Sactown Sports. Also, we'll go streaking and update how we did yesterday. All that and more here on Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Imagine it's the final game of the season, but your symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, are making a comeback. What should you do? Keep managing your constipation with belly pain the same old way? Or try getting ahead of your symptoms by talking to your doctor about Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
One of the reasons people buy new cars is because of the warranty. They don't want to have to worry about things breaking and the fear of unexpected repair costs. But did you know Elk Grove Kia has one of the longest warranties around at 20 years or 200,000 miles? No other Kia dealer offers that. You would have to be a real to buy from anyone other than Elk Grove Kia. And if you're worried about financing, don't. Elk Grove Kia believes in second, third, and sometimes fourth chances because Elk Grove Kia's management team has over 100 years of combined automotive experience. We know how to say yes a lot more than the others do. Collections, past due bills, repos, bankruptcies. Your job is your credit. So where others fail to get you into your new ride, we can get you qualified. Let Elk Grove Kia show you why we're out to be the #1 Kia dealer in California. So when you're ready for some peace of mind and a friendly face, come visit us, Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, or check us out online at elkgrovekia.com.
Elk Grove Kia.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. What's happening for Jeep Adventure Days?
With gas prices skyrocketing, good gas mileage is more important now than ever. And right now, you can save up to $11,000 off MSRP when you lease a new 2024 Jeep Wrangler Sport S 4xe plug-in hybrid.
But what about hauling the family around?
Well, save even more with up to $14,000 off MSRP when you lease a new 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited 4xe plug-in hybrid. Great mileage and big savings on one of America's most loved SUVs.
These deals can't last long, so hurry into Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram or see our whole selection at hobletdodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period. 11,000 total Wrangler 4xe net savings on lease only after 8,500 factory rebates and 2,500 dealer discount. 14,000 total Grand Cherokee 4xe net savings on lease only after 11,500 factory rebates and 2,500 dealer discount. Lease options subject to credit approval. Not everyone will qualify. Rebates include 7,500 federal tax credit rebate. Subject to change without notice. 5 of each net savings. See dealer for details.
NorCal Sportsman Show, October 14th and 15th at the grounds in Roseville.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlad with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings' second preseason game is tonight when they take on the Los Angeles Lakers in Anaheim. You can listen to the game with game night at 5:30 and tip-off scheduled for 7 right here on Sactown Sports. The Texas Rangers beat the Baltimore Orioles 7-1 to sweep the 101-game winners. The Rangers move on to the ALCS, where they will meet up with the winners of the Astros and Twins series. Reminder, all guests come to you via the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Those are your headlines, and now let's get back to the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
It's time to go streaking.
We're going streaking! Yeah!
Who is the Nostradamus of MLB? Who can keep the streak going? It's time to go streaking.
What the hell are you doing?
We're streaking!
Well, are we streaking? That's the question. A regular season game that we have taken out to the postseason. Basically, we pick a player a day. If they get a hit, you have a hit streak. It moves on. You can't pick that player again until your streak is over. Or you can be Christopher Lott and take Mookie Betts every day. But then you finally got a hit, so you had to change your course because you were at a one-game hitting streak? Or were you at 0?
No, Mookie went 0 for 4.
Oh, that's right. He went 0 for 4. You're at 0, and Mookie didn't play yesterday. We only had the 2 American League games, so we had to choose between Baltimore and Texas or Houston and Minnesota. Dave is at 0. He'll be back next week. Bob Gerald, who will be in tomorrow, is at 1, so he'll get to play again to see if he can get to 2. I was currently at 4. Chris, you were at 0 trying to get a hit. And you went with former Oakland A, former Toronto Blue Jay,
Trevor Simeon,
and a current Texas Ranger, Marcus Simeon.
Marcus Simeon. Why did I say Trevor Simeon?
As a quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
You confused your Simeons. I don't know.
Same thing.
I don't know if Trevor would have got a hit, but we'll see if Marcus did.
He could have.
The Rangers, scored 7 runs. They did advance. They have won every game in the postseason. They got 11 hits, so odds are good. Marcus Simeon got up there 4 times. He got a hit. Yeah, Chris is on the board. Yes. So he's at 1. I was sitting at 4, trying to make it 5, getting close to the halfway point of the record. Dave's record is 11.
I mean, this would be more impressive than Dave's.
Postseason?
Yes.
Yeah, at 4, trying to get a 5th. And I took from those same Texas Rangers who scored 7 runs on 11 hits. Josh Young, third baseman, batting 8th, 4 plate appearances, no RBI. He did score a run, but he got 2 hits. Yes. So I am at 5.
We're going to go nuts in there!
I am going nuts in there. Chris is at 1. And before we make today's pick, just because I love all my guys, let's hear Bruce Bochy talk about what changed on this perfect postseason.
You're 5-0 in the postseason after that difficult final weekend. What changed?
It's a matter of getting hot. These guys got hot after a really tough series there in Seattle. You couldn't quite get it done there. Had to go to Tampa. And these guys put that behind them. And they've been doing that all year. It's just incredible what they just did.
Only 2 guys.
What?
Only 2 guys.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who?
Oh, no, those are the only. He said guys twice.
Only twice? I gotta go back and hear that again.
You're 5-0 in the postseason after that difficult final weekend. What changed?
It's a matter of getting hot. These guys got hot after a really tough series there in Seattle. You couldn't quite get it done there. Had to go to Tampa. And these guys put that behind them. And they've been doing that all year. It's just incredible what they just did.
Was there 2 in a row? Let me go back to that really fast, right about here.
It's a matter of getting hot. These guys got hot after a really tough series there in Seattle. You couldn't quite get it done there. Had to go to Tampa. And these guys put that behind them. And they've been doing that all year. It's just incredible what they just did.
I love all my guys.
That's it? Only 2?
Only 2. That's it. All right, so Boch and the Rangers, first team to move on to the championship series. They're in the ALCS. They could find out who they're playing as early as today. But, Chris, we got to pick players for today. We have 3 games to choose from for the streak today. Atlanta, Philly, Houston, Minnesota, and, the Dodgers in Arizona. Are you going to do it?
The Dodgers are done.
Okay.
Mookie Betts for me.
You're picking Mookie?
Yes.
You're doing this on purpose?
Yes.
Okay. You are trying to be the cooler.
Am I the person, even though you guys had a full season before I came on, am I the person that has chosen Mookie Betts the most?
No, I still don't think you have. Jay Mars would always pick him. And I was keeping track during the year. At one point, I think he had picked Betts about 12 times and got a hit every time. And he was something ridiculous. He was like batting like 600 with Mookie Betts. All right, so Chris is going to take Mookie Betts. I am going to go back to I just too infatuated with the Braves and their offense. So that's going to be my choice. I know I can't take Ozzie Albies, but I can take Ronald Acuna Jr.
Ronald Acuna Jr.
Yeah. So there we go to see if I can get to 6 on the streak. All right, what to watch today? Choices. We know Kings fans, we know what you're going to do today is you're going to be checking out the Kings and Lakers from Anaheim. That game can be heard right here on Sactown Sports. For those of you wondering, yes, it is on NBA TV tonight. So you can view it. You can also listen to every Kings game right here. Maybe you want to check out the WNBA Finals, Game 2 from Las Vegas. The New York Liberty versus the Las Vegas Aces. Did you see that video, Chris, the other day of Raiders owner Mark Davis gambling before the...
No.
Yeah, there's a video. Someone caught him in a casino. I mean, he's just sitting at a slot just by himself. And it just, I don't know why
like
it looks...
quarter slot?
I have no idea.
He looks like a person that would play slots all the time.
You know what's funny is that you say quarter slots because people will go, oh, you pay penny slots. If anybody's seen penny slots lately...
It's like $2.50.
Way more than that. Like if you're playing the max, sometimes it's like 600 credits. It's like $6 a spin. And go, oh, wow, you're rich. You're sitting over here at the 25-cent machines. Sometimes like the old school slot machines, 25 cents, still like a max is like 3 credits.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, this guy's playing penny machines. He's spending $6 a spin, or you're over here playing 75 cents. I mean, it's a world of difference if you're doing that. But yeah, there was a video out there of like, just leave the guy alone. But anyway, he's gambling.
I say keep bothering him.
Well, I don't know that anybody was bothering him. He didn't know they were filming him. He's just sitting there.
I want to see Mark Davis in every situation outside of a football game.
I have seen him once personally in an outside the stadium situation. I saw him at a P.F. Chang's in Walnut Creek.
He's
just eating at the bar. Pretty uneventful.
Are you sure it was him? How could you tell?
What? Just take a guess at what you think he was wearing.
White Raiders jumpsuit.
You're correct. Well, I can't validate the Raiders. I don't know if they had Raiders on it. It was a white jumpsuit. That I do know. I don't know if I saw a logo. I cannot recall if I saw a logo. All right, so you got the Liberty versus the Las Vegas Aces. And then baseball, all 3 games that we mentioned. You've got Atlanta at Philly. That'll be day baseball. That's coming up around 2 o'clock. At 4 o'clock, you've got Houston and Minnesota. That is an elimination game potentially for Minnesota. The Braves-Phillies, we're going to definitely have a game 4 because that's 1-1. And then the Dodgers on the brink in Arizona tonight, down 2-0. Diamondbacks can eliminate Los Angeles tonight if they get that win. So those are the things to check out tonight. We mentioned earlier the Kings will be a game that hopefully you get a chance to check out as Sacramento looking to, again, I don't know if they even care about evening their record. Honestly, I don't think they care at all about that. It's just, can they play better? Can they execute? Can they do things that they didn't do well against the Raptors in Vancouver? Let's hear more about that from Coach Brown from practice yesterday, kind of talking about what he would like to see from the Kings this evening against the Lakers.
Well, to see if we can string a few more possessions together of playing fast, but also playing together and playing the right way. And then defensively, taking care of the transition game. And being physical without fouling. I thought those were some of the things that hurt us against Toronto, especially when we turned the ball over. We didn't necessarily have that next play mentality, meaning that, hey, immediately you got to transition as opposed to drop your head or your shoulders and then transition.
Yeah, Toronto last year bothered the Kings. They're a long athletic team. I think the Lakers are that too. So some of the things, defending without fouling, that Brown's talking about, playing efficient and effective for longer stretches of time. That certainly will be on the agenda. And as far as De'Aaron Fox, here's what he had to say about what they're looking to do tonight versus the Lakers.
First, just what we're doing defensively, and then just the new wrinkles in our offense. Try to cut down on turnovers. Obviously, I think we missed a lot of bunnies last game. Not necessarily worried about that. But then defensively, the Lakers are one of the best transition teams in the league as well. So how do we look as far as trying not to commit turnovers, not to give them easy baskets, and then even on a make or miss shot, us getting back and just being able to guard the rim.
So those are things tonight for the Kings and the Lakers, and of course we'll be back with a reaction to that tomorrow. One other note, sports-wise, if you missed it, Anthony Richardson, quarterback for the Colts, who's been banged up a couple different times this year. It's going to be put on the IR. He'll miss a minimum of 4 weeks. He's got a right shoulder injury. There's some talk it might be as much as 8 weeks for him. So Gardner Minshew will go in as the starting QB for the Colts. All right, we'll take our final break. When we come back, we got the conclusion of the show, a little crosstalk, see what's going on with Zachariah and Watkins for the next show, and celebrity birthdays brought to you by our friends at Crumble Cookies. That's all straight ahead here on Sactown Sports.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729 or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Fall is prime time for planting, and Lowe's knows how to help. Start by beautifying your garden with our large assortment of mums, available in a variety of colors. Then get Stay Green garden soil, starting at $4.48 to feed your plants all season long. And don't forget Scott's fertilizer for preparing your lawn for a better spring, starting at $28.48. A great-looking fall starts here. Lowe's knows home improvement. Selection varies by location, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
It's the model year-end sales event at Acura of Stockton. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Lease a new Acura RDX or MDX. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton or AcuraofStockton.com. where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
You've probably heard the word, but do you know what a stimp meter is and how it works? Invented by Edward Stimpson in the 1930s, a stimp meter is a device used to measure the speed of putting surfaces. His version was made of wood and was simply a chute on which a golf ball would roll onto the green. Roderick Easdale writes in Golf Magazine, today's stimp meters are made of aluminum. They're 36 inches long and have a V-shaped chute down which the ball can roll. It has 2 notches on which the ball rests. After a flat area of the green is selected, a golf ball is placed in the notch and the end is slowly lifted until the ball rolls down the chute and across the green. The average of 3 distances becomes one of the measurements. The process is repeated in the opposite direction, and the measure of both directions is added and divided by 2. That figure in feet is the stimp meter reading. Most courses average 9 or 10 on stimp meter, which is neither too fast or too slow, just right for most recreational players. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
It's time for the news of the day.
The latest headlines, the biggest stories, hard-hitting analysis.
Yeah, this is none of those things. And now, here's Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross.
There we go. Yeah, we built up the momentum. Yeah. What's up, guys?
Not a whole lot.
Yeah?
Wacky Wednesday.
Wacky Wednesday?
Yeah, I think I've been here probably 30 times, maybe over under. I think it's taken me 17 different ways out of those 30.
Yeah, I was just telling you, I had a chance to go down to the Berkeley area where you're from and down there, and I did the ways on the way home, and it took me a way that parts I didn't know of.
You were in the Kensington Hills, my friend.
See, you knew it.
Welcome.
I didn't. I'm like,
Yeah.
This looks cool, but at some point, I feel like I'm going parallel with the freeway. When am I going to get there?
It saved you a bunch of time.
I'm
Trust
sure
me.
it did.
It just got you through. I mean, because there's not even a lot of stop signs on the Arlington.
No, that's what I couldn't believe. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is going to be stops. There wasn't.
Trust me, when it in between Emeryville and like all the way to Richmond, it's bad. And it basically made you avoid all that. It was smart.
When you're coming, though, this way, I'm sure you're kind of out of peak traffic time,
I'm
right?
fine, yeah.
And going back, I guess the same.
But I think the reason why it's taken me so many different ways is because I think it factors in accidents.
Yeah.
So it'll have me like I was on, what did I say? What did I call it? Something freeway? Like Vegetable Freeway or something?
I don't think that's the name of it.
I was on something. Garden Highway.
Garden Highway.
Vegetable. Sorry.
I will no
was
longer ever call it Garden Highway again. It's now
Vegetable
Vegetable
Freeway.
I was close.
No, it's great. It's totally fine.
Now it's in our heads.
Yeah.
I don't know why I got here, but we were in Southern California this last weekend. We were driving home, just absolutely horrific scene. I hadn't seen something like this. I saw a life flight on the other side of the freeway by the Grapevine. So it was a gnarly accident. Obviously, I read about it later. There was someone that didn't make it, but I mean, helicopter on the freeway, and
that's great.
You could just imagine. I mean, on the other looky-loos on our side, which always happens, but the backup was miles. You're just like, oh.
In our great state of California, which has the most freeways between Sacramento, LA, and the Bay Area? I'm guessing LA number one, but I bet you Sac is 2. Because there's not a lot in the Bay. Yeah, there's like 80, 580, and 880. I feel like Sacramento's got like 15, like I said.
Well, some of ours are confusing with
99, 80,
and then there's like
50,
kind of the,
and then they turn into
it was business
other.
80, and then like
it is the
Capital
Express.
too. Yeah. It's like, what's going on here? Yeah. What's coming up today on the show, guys?
Whole bunch of
Lots of stuff. Lots of Kings, actually. We actually are going to
Kings basketball.
With the
got a huge game tonight.
Yes,
national television.
Yeah,
Chris.
Lakers. It's
NBA TV.
Lakers.
Kidding me?
Must win? Are we going must win?
I think so. It feels like it. After you
for sure.
Disappointing start.
Season's
You definitely
over.
Yeah,
if they lose.
A lot on the NBA GM survey that came out yesterday.
Yes.
That's always a ton of fun. And then we got the rest of the ESPN top 100 list for the NBA players.
Up to the top 10, right?
We got a Fox and Domas signing.
Yes.
Exciting.
We learned that our guy Keegan Murray is going to be in the top 10.
Yeah, he's not listed yet.
Yeah, exactly.
So who knew?
And
we have a
I
top
got
10 player in
Murray.
Sac.
I think Monk's in there. Probably JaVale. It's really all Kings. Besides
Kessler,
Fox.
you think Kessler slides in there?
4.
Yeah,
solid 4.
Yeah,
Kevin Durant maybe at 1, but everybody else
follows
after.
That guy's around. Yeah. What I did find amusing on the GM survey, I said this earlier, that I guess De'Aaron Fox got faster.
He did.
Because he was not the fastest last year.
No, you know what? Actually, John
easily
Morant got slower.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah. Big development this offseason.
Yeah, it's like, oh, funny. They're now on national TV, on playoffs. People see them. Oh, he's actually fast. Yeah, he's always been.
Yeah, because normally you don't get faster as you get older.
No, he's probably, I mean, I don't know if he's slower, but
he definitely plays slower, which is funny. Like, he's definitely learned how to like pace himself throughout the game, which is the funniest thing about.
And for Ja, in his defense, it's hard to move when you got a gun in your waist.
Right.
True.
And when you're not playing at all.
Right.
Yes, true.
And he moved
hard
way
to be
down
fast on the couch.
Yeah.
He moved down in the ESPN poll. Yeah, it's like still a really good player.
And that's got to be all off the court stuff.
Yeah, and same with Zion. Like Zion was like 47. I'm like, wait, this guy. I mean, when he's right, he's top 10 ish, but
played last night.
Like,
yeah.
Trim
one of my favorite players that hasn't played. Like if there was a list for that, Bo Jackson later in his career, but like Zion, man, when he's on the court, he just looks like a video game.
Today, guys, how are you going to celebrate not a National Sausage Pizza Day? With sausage pizza or no?
Sausage and pepperoni.
And pepperoni.
That's the best. If
sausage
you can only
fine,
get 2 toppings, to me, you can't go wrong with that.
All right, so you get 2, you're going sausage pepperoni.
I think so. That's like number 1 option.
I get 2. I think I'm going either double pepperoni or pepperoni bacon.
I have not thought double pepperoni.
I haven't either. That's smart. That's
because that's just by far my favorite topping. Yeah. I could do a sausage though. Yeah. There's just certain ones. I think you were asking somebody else about this. There's certain ones I cannot do pineapple. Right. Not an olive guy.
Pepperoni, jalapeno, and
no, only
pineapple.
2. You get 2. What are you picking, Chris?
Only 2. I will pick sausage and olive.
Okay.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. Pizza's, I mean, and the other thing about pizza, if you don't like the topping, you just take it off. Yeah.
Sausage is too
Are you a pizza guy?
It's too tall.
Yeah, it's like too much. It's like almost like 2 meals. You know what I mean?
It's above the pizza line.
Yeah, so it's like that. You know, they're
it's
big.
too tall.
Yeah.
National Bring Your Teddy Bear to Work Day.
Okay. Dang, I forgot mine.
You guys still have a teddy bear anywhere?
No.
I don't have any. No.
I
wasn't a big stuffed animal kid.
Thing. Yeah, like before my time. Like,
do like sports Beanie Babies count? I think I have one of those.
I have some of them, but not like
you do?
that I would like hang around and sleep with.
He's saving them to pay off his college funds.
National Take Your Parents to Lunch Day.
Oh, that's sweet.
That is sweet. It's always
take
nice.
Take your parents to lunch day.
When the parents take you to lunch.
Yeah. What they ever do for me.
Yeah, exactly. Come on. When's it going to be my turn?
Yeah. Responsible for my life.
Jason, did you ever, they never had like a bring your kid to work day here, huh? Have they? That was always like my parents are both state workers, but like that was always my favorite.
You
day
like
of the
to
year
go
was
there?
Earth Day. Oh yeah, it was just like
You like to go to the state offices?
Well, I like to not be at school.
Oh, that's what it was.
That's really
Okay.
what it is.
Yeah.
It's like the best day of the year for the kids because it's just like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
just like a random day off.
They brought his son here one of the days in the summer. But
Right,
yeah,
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Mason was in the house. All right, guys, it's time for celebrity birthdays. There's the song. It's going to be in your head all day. Brought to you by Crumble Cookies. Birthdays are meant to be spent with family and friends, and nothing brings family and friends together better than Crumble Cookies.
It's just missing the jingle.
Yes. I'm going to implement the game we were doing, I think, last week a little bit. I'm going to just say the first name for a minute, see just what comes up. So happy birthday today to Steve
E. Wonder.
Way too quick on that.
Steve Sachs.
Okay.
Steve Martin.
All right. Well, it's Steve Young's birthday. How old is Steve Young today, guys?
I'll say 60.
60, big one for him.
I like doing the same number, so I'm going to go double nickel.
55.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 62.
Okay. We have a correct answer among the group. He's still on fire, Chris Verlon, 62.
Jeez.
And he also gave us Steve E. Wonder.
Yeah.
That was good.
Happy birthday to John
E. Riley.
Miller.
Oh, John Miller.
Yeah.
Malkovich.
For the first time in the history of this game, we have a correct answer.
What's that?
It's happy birthday to John Miller. How old is John Miller?
Wow.
Good pull from
can
the
I-
Giants.
Can I double this up?
That was good.
I feel like this is not going to be a good guess. I'll say sorry, John, 81.
Okay.
76.
I think he is 70.
Chris Verlon's the closest, 72.
Okay, sorry.
Good work on John
Yeah.
Miller. This one's a tough one. Happy birthday to Mike
Lowry.
E. Winfield.
Mike E. Winfield, Mike Miller, Mike Lowry. Happy
Do you know who Mike Lowry is?
Mike Lowry. Wait, that's the same. Mike
Yeah,
Lowry.
that's how
What's
they
that?
say it in the
Lowry.
movie. In the movie, that's how they say it.
It's not Friday.
Bad Boys.
Oh, Bad Boys.
Bad
Yeah.
Boys.
Mike Lowry. Mike Conley Jr. How old is Mike Conley Jr. today?
Trey 5.
35 for Zachariah.
It's either 36 or 37. I'll go with
Or 35. 37.
36.
Oh, you took 36. We have a correct answer. Chris Verlon, 36.
I hate
You
you
left the
so
door
much.
open.
It's 50-50.
You guys were all over that one.
Yeah.
Can't stand it.
All right, this one you guys will get the name, so I'll just say happy birthday to Cardi B.
Cardi?
Oh, yeah. Cardi. Cardi, the one-man party.
Kemba.
She's young.
Let's see here. We'll say Cardi is 30. I'll say 31.
28.
28.
32.
32. I will be so mad. I will be so
If he's
mad.
right, you'll be so
I
mad.
will be so mad.
Well, what if I tell you we have a correct answer? And what if I tell you it's you, 31?
Attaboy.
You guys were all over that too. Happy birthday. Okay, I think you'll get this. To TJ.
Bushmanzada.
Yeah. It's the only one I can think of.
Really?
TJ Lavin.
TJ Watt?
That's the correct answer. Happy birthday to TJ Watt. How old is TJ Watt today?
Super young. 26.
Yeah,
He is-
yeah. Don't step on me, please. 27.
28.
Chris Verlon's closest, 29. TJ Watt. Happy birthday to, let's try it this way, Daryl
Hammond.
Strawberry.
Steinberg.
Daryl Hall from Hall & Oates. How old is Hall? Daryl Hall.
Ugh.
Hammond, Strawberry, and Steinberg. Love it.
We'll say Oates or this is Hall.
This is Hall of Hall
We'll
and Oates.
say 78.
72.
74.
Chris Watkins, excuse me, the closest, 77.
Big Hall
for
and
Daryl
Oates
Hall.
guy, for sure.
Happy birthday to Terrell or Terrell. Terrell
Owens.
Davis.
Pryor.
Terrell Suggs. Terrell Suggs. Terrell Suggs? Terrell. He's Terrell.
Terrell Suggs.
Terrell Suggs.
Yeah.
Of the Ravens, formerly of the Ravens.
42.
That's a good guess. I'll say 45.
44.
Zachariah is the closest. 41.
Also hard.
All right. Happy birthday to Joan Cusack. You know Joan Cusack?
Nope. His family values.
Okay. Brother of John Cusack. Gosh, she's been in a ton of movies, but
9 months. I'm trying to think of the most random.
9 months old.
Yes.
I have no idea.
No idea. Chris Verlad, why don't you lead off?
I'm going to say 64.
Okay.
I'm going to say 74.
I'm going to say 68. Split the difference.
You don't know who she is, Chris, and you think I'm that far off.
Yeah, I think that you're trying to get us to guess wrong. Absolutely.
She is 61.
Wow.
We'll end with you can take a shot at the dark at Chris Spielman, former linebacker.
Detroit Lions. Yep.
And wrestler Rikishi.
Ooh, Rikishi.
You guys can either. Oh, you know what? They're the same age.
I'll do Spielman. Okay.
So they're the same age. How old are those two?
They are both 47.
They are both 55.
45.
Zachariah is the closest. 58.
See,
what?
I guess that low because of you,
man.
Yeah.
There you go. Good work, guys.
All right.
Have a great show coming up. Zachariah Watkins coming your way. My thanks to Emil Frosao for joining us. Brendan Nunes as well. And Coach Dan Hawkins of UC Davis. We are back tomorrow, but keep it right here. Zachariah Watkins coming your way next on Sactown Sports. See you.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2